Hello everybody and welcome back to Sunday Shuffle. I'm here with Windfall, fresh off of teaching a lecture in front of like 50 people in the Duelists of Eden Discord. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I was indeed teaching pretty much a class session in the Duelists of Eden Discord, just kind of going over some meta-analysis, but I'm super excited today to see such a really large number of attendees for this tournament. I think that this is probably the biggest one we've had with 27 entrants, and then the best part is like most of these entrants are not even alpha testers or like super duper high ranked. We have overall just a ton of people that we don't usually see playing today. So I am very excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, and first up we have Mecha versus Justin at Law, and I think both these players have been on the upswing recently, right? I remember Justin getting quite a good result pretty recently, and of course Mecha also steadily climbing the ranks of placing a little bit higher in each tournament.
Yeah, we've definitely seen both of these players on the rise in tournament and also in ranked as well. So I'm really interested to see how these decks are gonna play. You know, with the whole old triangle. Oh no old triangle here. Wait, no, yes old triangle on this Terra strategy, because that's honestly something that I've never seen before. Mecha Cheeto is old triangle Terra. And then I'm also super excited to see some Harissa gameplay, because she's not a character that's often played at all in tournaments. So I'm really excited to see what we have here.
Yeah, and I think the most memorable Harissa gameplay was actually Edendev, right? Pulling out the Harissa and controlling the front row. We'll see if Justin is as memorable here, but so far Mecha is controlling a lot of space, and it really feels like Justin's trying to find an opening, but Mecha is just controlling the entire front rows.
Yeah, Mega Cheeto just having some fairly threatening melee spells in their kit with Rush in that push slash, allowing them to stand in the front a bit more, but also having a lot of excellent control of the back as well. You know, when you have things like Dark Matter pressuring the area back there, then also Boomerang just like right there and backstab, making it really hard for Justin to sit back.
Yep. A big health lead now for Mecha trying to push forward and finish out this game, but gets caught on the inverter, and that's a good chunk of damage for Justin, trying to land this, but it doesn't land raw, and now Justin's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Justin just at the 30 HP threshold. You know, when you're fighting against a deck like this, where you have Rag like that taking 20 HP down, and then the Dark Matter explosion just like that, it's gone. You know, when you're having a deck with just such hard-hitting spells that they're playing, it makes just being at like something like 30 HP, which is normally a pretty safe HP threshold, just more terrifying than it would be against other characters.
Yeah, this is really scary, and Mecha not really relying on the ult triangle, right? Throwing it out as a threat, as that mental stack, and also throwing out the Dark Matter, I believe, to make sure that Justin can't walk into those rows. But the ult triangle is acting more as like a zoning tool than as ult triangle, the damaging projectile itself.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting tactic to use it, you know, kind of to just control an area and make your opponent really not want to stand there, because, you know, they're afraid of that Dark Matter pulling them into it, and then taking advantage of that by using cards like Boomerang and then also like Rag to snipe them in the limited movement that they have.
Yeah, and now with the Tsunami, this time it's Justin with a bit of a lead here, and as Mecha does have some scary cards in hands though, trying to use the inverter, but Justin with the good dodges, not taking any unnecessary damage in the early stages of the game, but the Boomerang, and now the game's a lot more even, and when the game's even, Mecha gets really scary.
Yeah, definitely getting really scary, but it looks like Justin is managing to make the game a bit less even, with now a bit more of a solid lead. So the question is, will he be able to keep it? Now we're going to see him coming up on a fresh hand right here with PS and K-Wave coming up, but unfortunately nothing to help connect these cards. But they are just chipping Mecha down little by little.
Mecha now at very low health, but actually just blocked there by the Dark Matter, but this pressure by Justin in the front rows. Mecha with the movement and the inverter too. The ult triangle was a little scary there, and Justin doesn't get the kill. One health in a dream, but finally the auto slash, I believe, will close it out, and Justin evening up the set.
Yeah, that's gonna be terrifying, right? Throwing the ult triangle down there and then using inverter. Like, what if you get caught by a Dark Matter explosion?
Uh-oh, I left the lobby by accident.
My inverter. That is honestly a really scary thing to think about.
Oh, can you tell them to remake? I accidentally left the game. I misclicked.
Tell them to...
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I don't think they're saying.
Uh-oh. I was typing in Discord and yoinked my inputs, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they are locked in.
Okay, if they're locked in, that's fine.
All right. All right. Yeah, they are locked in, but they are neck and neck right now. Unfortunately, nobody can see that.
Wait, can you Discord stream?
Can I Discord stream?
Yeah,
Yes. A
I
second.
I can save this.
Can you see that?
And okay, well, stream can at least see the ending of this game.
Yeah.
Oh, Mega Cheeto, 1 health. And
Oh,
Justin
yep,
with the
and
pressure.
he is
Okay.
dead. Hopefully they quit out and don't rematch immediately. Okay, good.
Oh.
All right. I'll turn my Am I good to turn the stream off? Or
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
There we go. All right. Moving into the next match. So right now Justin is up 2 and Mega Cheeto is at 1. So this could potentially be the last game of the set in Justin's favor. We will see.
Yeah, we will have to see. And so far, Justin, I think, playing a lot slower, right? Contents in the back row, but wait a second. That's a little bit of seize and downfall we're seeing.
Yeah, unfortunately, sitting in the back row at that moment was just the complete wrong place to sit due to that downfall coming up in Mega Cheeto's hand. And Justin having, a pretty sizable gap in HP at first, but it looks like he managed to bring it back to even.
Well, now that's even. It's no longer even. Justin just landed a combo with the Paragon, and now this Ultringle is going to have to do a lot of work, right? Try and scare Justin quite a bit. The Dark Matter timing, the downfall, the Ultringle!
That's why it's so scary, right? Is because you think it won't hit you, but then the freaking downfall pulls him into the Dark Matter, and the Dark Matter pulls him. Oh my goodness. That is the Ultringle setups that make this deck so terrifying to fight.
And now Justin's got to be a little bit more scared walking around near those center tiles. But still with a bit of a lead here. And with a fresh hand, could be doing a lot of work, interrupting Mega Cheeto a little bit. But the Warp Rays are on deck. Warped into the Ultringle again!
Oh my goodness. Just Mega Cheeto just hitting multiple Ultringle setups. Just back to back, last game we had one closing it out, and then now we have Justin pretty much lethal against, this kind of deck. He's pretty much at lethal right now. If one more Ultringle setup is going to do it, or maybe even a Rag setup, but just so much damage off of that.
So much damage, but Justin still able to win this. Still has a lot of health to work with, and suddenly it's almost even. Getting hit by the Dark Matter, but not the downfall. And Mega Cheeto lurking, gets the boomerang. That's a lot of chip damage, and Justin sitting at 15. That's not a lot against a deck like this. The Ragnarok's on deck. Going for a downfall, but not quite. The rush available as well. Mega Cheeto trying to find a way to land this Ragnarok to get the seize. That's 7 damage, and Justin is trapped.
And the boomerang coming around right there. Unfortunately, catching Justin, the Dark Matter kind of sealing off his path of escape, and the boomerang coming around to finish the job. And Mega Cheeto taking that. Wow, those were some crazy Ultringle setups there. That is what I was talking about. It's something I haven't seen before. I haven't seen Terras do this with Ultringle, but it's a thing. It is a thing, and it is a new thing, and it is terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It is very scary, for sure. And Mega Cheeto landing 2 in 1 set. That is very, very impressive. we'll have to fight Sans next round, but well, if Mega Cheeto can land those O-Triangles, I think even Sans might be sweating a little bit.
Yeah, we will have to see if Mega Cheeto can prevail in a much more difficult matchup. But let's take a look at this bracket though. So we have right now a lot of games still going on, but we do have fortunately Kinger and Deathcon not making it, so they are not present, so DQing out. We have Garrett winning their set over Blade Dasher. We have Aneurysms winning over Uzea. And we have Lepton winning their set against Gladiolus Dragon. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, and that's actually a close set, right? It's 3-2. Gladiolus Dragon brought that really close when I think Lepton is very much a known quantity recently, right? Did very well last week, has been consistently performing in ladder as well, and to bring Lepton to Game 5 in Round 1 is very impressive.
Yeah, definitely a very impressive feat right there. And looks like we do have Lux and Lux taking their first set 3-0, and then we also have them looks like they've started their second set against Cryo Crits. So we'll have to see the outcome of that. All right, and then next up on stream, I believe, is Airy and Lepton.
Yep, Airy, quite impressive recently, right? Top 8'd last week, I believe, and just has been talked about a lot on the ladder, I believe, as well. So definitely a player to watch out for. But the same can be said about Lepton.
Yeah, definitely. These two players are definitely two players that have been kind of just steadily improving, just getting better and better performances in these events and in ranked as well. So I can't wait to see them go head to head. This will be really interesting to watch. So we got Lepton coming in with the Shopkeeper deck, the typical. And I believe I've seen Airy play Dread and Saf. I'm not sure which one they're gonna choose to stick with.
Yeah, checking the deck list, Saf is the main, and actually it's a Harissa as the secondary deck here, so abandoning the way of the Dreadworm is Airy, and also this is a bit of an interesting match to have in round 2 because last week both of them did not meet in bracket at all but ended up at the same 5th place. One getting eliminated by Residential and the other getting eliminated by Hub Scoa, so this is quite a good matchup to be having in the second round here.
Yes, indeed. And now that you've mentioned the Harissa part, I'm even more excited to potentially see that come out if the SAF doesn't work out. Because like I said in my my class session, Harissa is a character that is definitely very strong, but unfortunately just does not really get played much at all. So I'm really happy to see Justin, a Harissa player, coming in here in this tournament today, and also seeing more people maybe whip her out.
Yep. And I'm really interested to see this matchup in particular because Airy plays a very aggressive Saffron and really goes in kind of a very similar deck to Hubsco, I believe, but plays it in like a polar opposite sort of way, and it is very interesting to watch. She just gets in there.
Yeah, Saffron is definitely a character that can afford to be super aggressive because you got that weapon, you got a lot to harass the opponent with. So definitely a very what's my word? Definitely an effective play style for the character. There's plenty of super offensive Saffron strats. Now, as for going into this matchup, I'm not sure how it will look because we've seen Saffron's like Papa Gurgle be forced to play just pure defense when fighting Shopkeeper, almost entirely defense. So who knows if that offense will be as much, seen as much here, just due to the nature of the matchup. But we'll find out. Oh, that's such a nice skin.
It really is. What a palette! Wow, that's like really nice.
Yeah, I love the look of that.
Well, we're heading right into game. Lepton versus Airy, winners round 2, and Lepton with the Perforate, I believe, the most notable card in this deck, uses that quite well as a combo ender, as combo filler, and it's always really nice to see because I don't think a lot of other people are using that card.
Yeah, no, besides near players, Perforate is not really something you see too often in the current meta, but it can be pretty neat for 4-way combos as well. So that may be part of the reason it's being played here, is for the 4-way potential.
Oh, but it's Airy with the big damage here. The minigun, such a great tool, but on the other side, the minigun back, Lepton with the bow snipe and the combo, but look at that, Airy with the spear waves. Similar to Hupskoa, like I said earlier, the consistent damage, but Airy's playing at a much more rapid pace.
Yeah, I kind of feel like both these players are kind of just hitting a lot of their things, and which is probably why we're at an even game right now. You know, Airy hitting a lot of her spells, and then Lepton also hitting a lot of their setups. But it looks like Airy is on top and is going to finish it off with that Sparkler. Very dangerous tool when you're at lethal HP.
Yeah, the iconic dance at 2 health when you're against the Saffron. You're at lethal, and it is very tricky to avoid the mind games here, as Airy gets off to quite a good start here, but can't dodge the mark and takes a bit of chip damage. But Lepton already pretty low, and Airy's deck is so scary. If you get hit by one of these straight line cards, it is just a combo into so much more damage. A counter, but not quite. The bow snipe still comes out, and Lepton gets some damage back, but Airy's accelerating the pace of this game so well.
Yeah, I definitely think that that super offensive strategy that Airy's using is definitely working here, because they're just straight up outpacing Lepton right now. And then every time Lepton misses more spells, it just makes it more and more difficult for them to keep up with Airy hitting a lot of theirs. So definitely gonna need to see some defensive adaptation.
Yeah, and Spear Wave will close it out as Lepton tries to run to the front row. Airy up 2-0. It's looking like Lepton's going to have to really find a way to slow down this game, to try and play more defensively, but every time Lepton steps to the front row, there's a push slash, there's something that Airy has ready to get big damage.
Yeah, you know, Airy just running overall just a lot of threatening spells in there, you know, that are dangerous in the front with Step Lance, Push Slash, Kinetic Wave. You just really don't want to be boxing Airy at any point, but, you know, Airy sitting in the back, Shopkeeper has to move up.
Yeah, and Airy just transitions from back to front so well, right? Just goes forward and makes it so difficult for Lepton to find their own footing now with the Thunder, but no, Airy with a massive lead, almost 40 HP, and even though Shopkeeper can erase these leads, there's the Perforate, there's a little bit of damage. It's going to take a lot more than that from Lepton.
Yeah, just Airy, while also just being offensive, being able to overall just dodge these guillotines and dodge a lot of these setups. And the dodge right there, just immediate. Just what an amazing reaction right there. But Lepton definitely going to need to be more creative in order to hit these spells.
Oh, but there's a bow snipe on the dodge. That's a big catch for Lepton. 35 health is not a lot to work with against Shopkeeper, and this is very doable, especially after that javelin for Lepton. But wait a second, big combo from Airy, and if that pull landed, that could have been lethal. But still, 7 health and a Dream, 2 health remaining. Airy can just fish for the Sparklers now, has the Spear Wave in hand, and catches the dodge.
Yep. I was just talking about that earlier, how you can, you know, set up the Sparkler. The Sparkler sets up the Spear Wave. And we just saw that right here. Airy with a very convincing 3-0 set in their favor. Very impressive showing here. You know, Lepton is definitely not just any Shopkeeper. Lepton's a very good Shopkeeper player. So for Airy to be able to take this such convincingly just shows how much they've grown.
Yeah. Dominant set. Well played by Airy, and moving on for a shot at top 8 later. But there are plenty of other games going on. Of course, you mentioned earlier Lux 3-0 over Cryocrits, and Aneurysm's actually 3-2 over Sargly. That must have been pretty close. Right now we're seeing Hupskoa over Tenebrae for the moment, and a lot of games going on the loser side. You do not want to drop to the loser side early in a bracket like this. There's so many players that could make top 8.
You got a long way to go if you drop to losers early. You got a long hill to climb. But yeah, let's definitely gonna be interested to see how the set with Icarus Diver is going to turn out, as well as we might see Rifle versus Gret later on if they both win that set. That will be definitely something very interesting to watch as well. Can't wait to see how the set between Sans and Mecha Cheetah is gonna turn out either. You know, we got two gimmick kings right now fighting in winners round 2.
Yep. And the winner of Hupsco versus Tenebrae, currently looking like Hupscoa is 2-0 up, will face Aneurysms, and Aneurysms actually returning to Sunday Shuffles after a bit of a break, and well, it's like she never left. Already in the winner's top 8 qualifier, even though not seeded for it.
Hey, sometimes breaks make you better, you know? I've taken a bit of a break from this game before to play Baldur's Gate for like a month. And, you know, I came back and it doesn't really, it doesn't take much, you know? I didn't really feel like I was worse when I came back. I just pretty much just picked up where I left off. Like, it's not the same for everyone. Some people do get worse when they go a long time without playing, but others aren't. So Aneurysms might be one of those cases.
Yep, and it's going to be interesting to see who wins that Hupscoa versus Tenebrae matchup, because Tenebrae, I think, barely missed out on top 8 last week, but it was just barely. The Taku Pirate got the better of them that time, but yeah, definitely a player that has been pretty consistent at making that top 8 cutoff. So unfortunately, seeded into Hupscoa in winners round 2. It looks like Hupscoa has taken the 3-0, and we'll be seeing Hupscoa versus Aneurysms up next right now.
Yes, we will, and that will definitely be something very interesting to be watching. So you just said that Hupscoa won. Yep. Here it is. Just had I have to refresh my page, but yeah, that'll be interesting. So we got the Reva versus the Saffron matchup. That'll be interesting.
It definitely will be, and it's always fun to watch Aneurysms. The decks are always very, very interesting to watch, I think. So, and on the other hand, Hupscoa is experimenting, right? Trying out variations of the deck. Here's a Vivisection. The inverter wasn't present in previous iterations of Hupscoa's deck, so constantly evolving the playstyle is Hupscoa.
Well, as someone who likes inverter a lot, I will say it's definitely a good card to be experimenting with. I'm not sure how good of a fit it will be for this deck. We will find out as the game progresses how often it's paying off. But oh man, these skins are so awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just looking. I love these skins so much. I mean, anyway, but over on Aneurysm side, we got the Rush, we got the Diag Beam, card commonly played on Reva. I've been seeing that quite a bit, and also K Wave, probably a follow off W2. Got the Barrel for the payoff. So just typical Reva.
Yep. And Hupsco is really wishing not to see the Hyper Beam here, and indeed it is not present. But Aneurysms with a bit of an ominous title, not even my final form. Maybe we'll see the Hyper Beam pulled out later. But Hupscoa, we know how Hupscoa plays, right? Loves the back row, very, very good at defensive positioning, and it's showing. But Aneurysms is going to try to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, Reva definitely can have a bit of trouble in situations like those, because Reva unfortunately cannot handle the back too much. So Aneurysm's gonna have to find a way to get Hub out of that back column, or to hit them back there without taking too much damage.
Yep, and Hupsco with a bit of an opening, and this game is being kept very, very close. And if the game is being kept close, that's good for Hupsco, right? That consistent spear wave damage is what they're looking for. And oh wait, did the anchor cancel on the triple barrel? Only one hit landed, but still 5 damage, and Aneurysms is also keeping up this consistent damage here.
Yeah, we kind of just have both players just going neck and neck right here. Aneurysm getting a slight lead right there, but Hupscoa with Spear Wave coming up, that lead could very easily disappear. And as they get closer and closer to lethal HP, Spear Wave is not something you want to be fighting at lethal HP, just in general, because it's almost a one-shot at lethal, and then it's also just incredibly hard to avoid.
Yep. To that Vivisection not quite getting the value that Hupscoa wanted. The Spear Wave though available, but only one spear available. 2 hits, and oh wow, Aneurysms. The counterplay is perfect just goes through all of it, and that's the first game in pretty decisive fashion, right? The game was being kept close, but it never felt like Aneurysms was out of the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely. And just that last interaction right there, which is excellent use of that shield bash by Aneurysms, going straight through that spear wave and using that opportunity to close out that game. Yeah, definitely. That was definitely really cool.
Well, we're heading into the second game. Hubs go with a bit of a switch and abandoning the spears entirely. The other flavor of deck Hubsco has been experimenting with, and we'll see if Hub is going to find the value here, but it's going to be interesting to see because we know Hubsco more for that spear wave.
Yeah, definitely. Abandoning Spear Wave is definitely gonna weaken their ability to kind of play in the back. What did they replace it with? Did they replace it with anything?
It's just a completely different collection of cards, I feel like. Of course, a lot of them are the same, like Inverter and Minigun and Kinetic Wave and all of that, but the addition of Rush and some other cards might actually be helping Hubsco a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Hubscoa, in that previous match, being unable to take the game against Aneurysms with a more deck more focused on playing in the back columns, opting to play a more kind of melee strong deck, which could definitely be useful against a character like Reva.
Yep. And now getting a lot of damage is Hubsco, actually. The triple barrel value has been pretty good so far, and with a massive health lead, this is the Hubsco we know, playing calmly, playing patiently in the back row, just trying to get a Sparkler chain and just getting a little bit of damage at a time. 1 health remaining, and that's Hubsco taking the second game decisively.
Yeah, Hubscoa just really abusing that melee strong part of their deck in order to just poke Aneurysms to death, pretty much. You know, it's actually kind of funny how adding more melee may have made Hubscoa's deck better at being able to sit back, because then when Hubscoa catches Aneurysms up in the front, you know, it's just free damage.
Alright, Kinetic Wave goes out, and Hubsco with quite the significant lead here. 2 hits of the triple barrel as well. Aneurysm's taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, Hubscoa kind of just like abusing cards like Rush like that and K-Wave, really making Aneurysms afraid to play in that area that they really want to. And that is making that's definitely making a very large difference here, based on how these last few games have been going. Ever since adding the melee changes, Aneurysms can no longer just kind of sit in the front and bully Hubscoa in the back, whereas Hubscoa wants to play in the back in the first place, and then Aneurysms being unable to hit a lot of their spells unless they move up.
Yeah, and again, the Rush actually was a staple of Hubscoa decks in the past, but wait a second, Aneurysms with the big damage, and if there's more of those, we could see this lead disappear pretty soon, but that's a lot of hits of that minigun, and Aneurysm sitting at very critical HP. One opening should do it for Hubscoa, but the healing is coming in for Aneurysms. That's the opening, and that's the game for Hubscoa, going up 2-1.
Yep, so we could be potentially seeing the last game right here, but we're actually potentially going to see a deck switch, maybe? Oh, deck switch. Yes, we are going to see a deck switch. I think that is definitely probably the right move here. You know, the last 2 matches have not gone well due to kind of the changes in gameplay that Aneurysm is being forced to make by Hubscoa. So let's see. They opted... so we have Strip Mine now, and Venoshock and more Poison. So that is definitely an option, right? Because the Poison's going to force them to come forward. And the Strip Mine is also just going to make it really hard for them to kind of move back and forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of zone control here for Aneurysms, and trying to make it so that Hubscoa can't move as freely, but getting countered. And I think if Hubscoa uses the Sparkler at the right times, it's still going to be pretty hard for Aneurysms. The Poison there, and actually big damage. Aneurysm suddenly at a massive lead just by landing that.
Yeah, Aneurysm's now really having that option to kind of just snipe with Venoshock, right, off of Acid Rain and off of Anubis. So if Hubscoa wants to sit in the back, after they get poisoned, they're pretty much forced to move forward. Otherwise, they just have that constant, like that, of getting sniped by that Venoshock and taking a ton of damage.
But Hupsko unfazed still lands the return string and is still in the lead here despite the flashy plays from Aneurysms. But the Whirl comes in, goes for extra damage there, but evens up the game regardless. And some more poison potential here, zoning out the front side, hitting Hupsko away, trying to find the hit, but the triple barrel is actually pretty good from Hupskoa. Makes it so that Aneurysms can't land a straight line.
Yes, and now right here we have an even game of difference of 1 HP now, or it just was. But Aneurysms just let the strip mine. Oh no! Aneurysms throwing out the strip mine and catching Hupskoa while invading, and unfortunately Hupskoa not having the reaction speed to get out of the way after returning.
Now it gets a little scary. Hupsko has made the adaptations and Aneurysms has back as well. It's all gonna... I think a lot of it's going to be whether Aneurysms can land those Venus Shocks, and fishing for it now, but it gets countered and unable to find a timing to land it on Hupskoa. And this type of game is where Hupskoa thrives with a lead, can play slowly, can just play for the counter hits, and Aneurysms is slowly bleeding out.
Yeah, Hupsko are really just looking for opportunities where Aneurysms wants to land a hit, and then using that to land a hit himself, right? So once again, Aneurysms up here just trying to fish for hits, and then even if Hupskoa is poisoned at this point, they have that rush to quickly make their way to the front, and even potentially counter hit Aneurysms.
Yep, and not getting caught by the strip mine. Massive lead here. Hupskoa looking for 1 or 2 more openings to seal the deal. Has the rush, doesn't quite land it, and Aneurysms dodging away from all the damage here. Trying to go for some poison, gets a little bit of it, gets the shield break, but can't really do too much with those cards.
Yeah, unfortunate right there, not really having any cards to follow up off of that shield break, but now, unfortunately, Aneurysm stuck at 4 HP, and getting caught by the minigun across the screen. Hupskoa will be taking this set over Aneurysms, but that was definitely a close set.
Yeah, that was down to the wire. Incredibly well played from both players, and Aneurysms is going to have another shot at top 8 through the loser's side. Definitely very, very possible. And we have a whole collection of winners quarters to go through. First, we're going to go to Icarus Diver versus Lux, I believe. And all of these are winners top 8 qualifiers. Hupskoa in winners top 8 already.
Okay, but let's take a look at this some bracket updates. So obviously Icarus Diver winning their set over Household Mage very convincingly. So we're gonna have Icarus Diver against Lux at some point. And then we have who else? Who else was there? We saw Airy over Lepton already. Let's see, losers bracket updates. We have Usaya taking their set over Cryo Crits, so they will be moving on. Death Gun. Death Gun is not gone. Death Gun came back.
Yeah,
So
I'd have to DQ first round, but now faces Sargly in the losers round 3, and this is a bit of a mirror matchup between the Celestes, right?
yeah, they both played Selagi, I believe. So that is a mirror right there. We also have Gret and Justin playing in losers round 2. Both of them definitely very prominent. So unfortunate to see that one of them will inevitably be gone after this set. We have Mecha Cheeto and Sandwich Master playing. We have JKS up 2 on Lepton right now. So, oh no. That set's over. JKS 3-0ing Lepton.
Ooh, that's
Lepton out very early.
That's a really good win by JKS, and looking to advance further by facing Mecha Cheeto, and that's kind of funny, right? JKS Mecha Cheeto trying to terrorize the losers bracket after falling to Sans, and we'll see if JKS can overcome that, to overcome the power of the Ultra Angles.
Yes, can you go from fighting one character who fishes for very high damage strings into another that fishes for very high damage strings? Let's see if JKS can overcome.
Well,
Alright, but here we are. We're going to have Lux and Icarus. So this will be Coretta versus Reva, I believe, unless Icarus has changed mains, but I highly doubt it.
yeah, and tell me more about Icarus, right? I don't think Icarus has been as present as other alpha players in these tournaments. I believe this is actually Icarus's first post launch appearance, I think. So yeah, just tell me more about Icarus.
Yeah, Icarus has always been a strong Reva. They've definitely played in some of the tournaments in the alpha test. I have fought Icarus before, in one of the alphas tournaments before, and yeah, they're definitely very threatening, right? They were one of my main concerns going into that tournament. And Icarus is the reason I hate Quad Claws with a burning passion. I hate that card, and it is his fault. So, uh, but yeah, Icarus definitely very very strong with this character. Definitely a contender for the best Reva player. Just in general, like as a whole. So Lux has her work cut out for her right now.
Yeah. But there's the C's and trying to find some setup, but the hand isn't too favorable for the C's plays, and that means this deck from Lux is immediately a little bit behind in terms of momentum. It's going to be difficult against a player like Icarus, right? Where Icarus is looking for much faster cycles. The deck is pretty low cost all around and even has mana catch to accelerate it even further. And of course, with the eject just disrupting Lux's momentum, and that's so valuable against a deck that's so combo focused like Lux's.
Yeah, Icarus just being able to cycle very quickly, and then also in that cycle has the ability to completely screw up your cycle. If at any point he lands that eject clause, and with Lux having having a deck where the payoffs matter a lot. Oh my goodness, this combo. Oh, and the Shieldbreak as well. But yeah, Lux having a deck where they need their payoffs in order to get their damage, and that quad clause could just remove that.
Yeah,
just like that.
Wow, all of the big damage removed from Lux's hand. It goes for the C's interrupted. And I get what you're saying. Icarus's deck looks so annoying to fight against, and the pilot is so skilled as well. 2 damage, even more potential, has to shield Lux. It's such a tough situation, and that's the end of the first game. We're going to have to see some crazy adaptations because Icarus is so on point.
Yeah, Icarus really up point. Those quad claws, just against the deck like this, where those payoffs matter so much for where most of the deck damage comes from a few cards. Quad claws feels really bad, just like that. The whole deck's gone. The whole deck is gone, and now Lux has to try and hit Raw Ragnarok, and it just won't happen.
Yeah, this is such a tough situation to be in, trying to find some kind of combo. But with how fast the cycle is from Icarus, it is so difficult to find your momentum here. Even if you try to play slow, one misstep and your entire hand is worthless. And this time the eject not landing, but the big damage gone from Lux's hand, and it just Icarus constantly outpacing. But wait a second, there's the Tetra, there's the backstab, and suddenly Lux is in the lead.
Yeah, Lux managing to find a good amount of damage right there, and definitely gotta make sure to capitalize off of all those opportunities, because there won't be that many. You never know when that quad clause is gonna come and remove your damage from your cycle just like that once again. Oh, it's so bad getting those cards ejected, but Lux finding the triple barrel.
Yeah, and Lux really wanted the Tetra there. Now has to be really careful. 6 health and a dream. This is such an important game. Dodging away. The strip mine so dangerous. The scissors come out, and that's it. Well played by Lux, but Icarus just a step ahead. 2-0 up in the set. But you saw the potential there, right? Lux got the Tetra on the C's and the backstab as well. The big damage potential is here, but it's going to be so difficult to find the timing when your cards are getting ejected.
Yep, and even then, Lux shielded that quad clause, but it doesn't matter because statuses will go through will go straight through your shield. But managing to find a little bit of damage there with that backstab step. Oh, almost getting shield broken, unfortunately, but managing to hold out.
Oh, and really fishing for that a line into Tetra with the C's, but it's so difficult here. Gets the weapon into the Ragnarok there, and now Lux is at a decent spot, but there's so much easy damage on the side of Icarus. So many just good cards in a vacuum. There's the downfall for extra damage though. Lux, 22 health, can be killed. Oh, but the shield break, and that could be it. 4 health, 5 health, the downfall. Lux trying to find one kind of opening. 1 health remaining, the line, but good shields, and the Ragnarok dodged away from.
It's a super close game right now, but unfortunately, Missile managing to close that out against Lux, who just so desperately was trying to make it work on that last bit of HB, but could not overcome. Unfortunately, was finished off by that Ricochet shield. But yeah, Icarus just absolutely insane with this character, and then making quad claws just an absolute bane to anyone's existence, right? Just removing half their deck, their payoff spells. And with such a fast cycling deck, their payoff spells, by the time that it's their turn to attack, they lose their turn because of Quad Claws.
Yeah, just a great deck and great defensive play too from Icarus, not panicking at 1 health and playing the comeback so well. And Lux does still have a very good shot at top 8 through the loser side, just needs to win 1 against JKS or Mecha Cheeto, so definitely very doable for Lux, but not out of the woods just yet. And Icarus advancing to winner's side of top 8. We're going to see Residential versus Otaku Pirate next though, and these are also 2 players that got top 8 last week. Otaku Pirate on the loser side and not getting too far, unfortunately, and Residential all the way up to 3rd place, even making Perp swap off the Dreadworm in a 5-game set, so this is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, Residential definitely having very consistent higher placements in these tournaments recently, so just been doing very well overall. So definitely will be interested to see if Otaku Pirate can take down this menace. And is this for a second I didn't recognize Rez. So yeah, at first I'm just like, huh, who's this? All right, anyway, we're gonna see Hazel Shopkeeper, and it looks like
wait a second. Speaking of not recognizing people, that's crazy coming from Dark Diamond.
Yeah, I guess it would be hard to recognize me based on my end game name.
But yeah, this is interesting. And speaking of not recognizing, wait, I swear Residential's in-game name was Rifle until 2 seconds ago. Now it's Julie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, wait, you're so right.
I didn't recognize the name. But Residential / Julie now, I guess, up with a fairly solid lead of about a 40 HP lead right now. And the last thing you want to have, when fighting Shopkeeper is a large HP deficit, because they will just snowball the rest of the game, right? So Otaku Pirate definitely going to need to find some damage.
Yeah, and the one thing that Otaku Pirate has in this deck as an X factor, of course, is that spell power, trying to find the big burst damage to try and keep up, and a lot of cards to do that Hazel, push pull, wrench combos, but still has to be really careful because Rez is playing this so calmly, and it is looking a little dangerous.
Yeah, honestly, Residential, not really. Even Otaku wants to play up near the front to land their combos, but if Shopkeeper knows where you're going to be, it can be quite difficult to actually want to play there because they know where you're going to be. That means they know where to aim Gravitas, right? So Otaku and Pyre definitely going to have to be very careful in this matchup about how they decide to play.
Yeah, and South Defense are a great card for a lot of matchups, but I think we'll be left a little bit wanting in this one. And there's not a lot of multi-hits on the side. There's a guillotine. There's 8 health remaining. There's some big damage though. Otaku Pirates getting some health back and still not out of the danger range at all because Residential could kill with 1 card.
Yes, that is very true, but definitely at least managing to close that HP deficit from before. And now having a solid chance at being able to take this game back. And honestly, Otaku Pirate just kind of playing just patiently here, right? Not really rushing in too much, making sure not to run into anything, into any stray hits, right? And then using those turrets to block things like a line like there.
Yep. Residential though playing defensively quite well as well. And the SD turret coming in with a lot of value, 2 SD turrets right next to each other. And Otaku Pirate just not getting hit so far, but the Thunder comes in. That's 5 health remaining. Residential in a little bit of trouble, but not getting caught by the turrets. And now Otaku Pirate, oh, what a hit, but doesn't matter. Residential doesn't care. It just gets the damage anyway, despite getting hit. Uses the health like a resource.
Yeah, definitely the trade right there was very much worth it for Residential. Otaku Pirate almost managing to bring that game completely back from a large HP deficit. But the question is, with adaptation that strong, will Residential be able to keep this up and take another game off of Otaku Pirate?
Yeah, we'll have to see as Otaku Pirate playing this one as slowly as before. And the spell power gimmick hasn't really come up so much. Otaku Pirate really wants to set up those boxes and a great beam crystal to negate that bow snipe. Residential playing this slowly and, well, just getting consistent damage, and we're probably going to see a pretty close mirror of last game. Otaku Pirate's going to need something explosive to bring this game back under control.
Yeah, talk about overall just playing super duper patient, making sure not to walk into anything too dangerous, and then using these structures in order to block Residential's straight line spells. Very nice dodge by there by Otaku Pirate, by the way. But yeah, just kind of using these structures to block things like Triple Barrel and Bow Snipe. You know, oh my goodness, what a perfect response there to being rooted.
Yeah, and the health deficit not too big, but being close is always dangerous against a shopkeep like Rez, and now a bit of an interesting interaction there with the Beam Crystal, taking a lot of damage, taking even more damage. A big opening from Otaku Pirate makes it so that Residential is in that critical, not quite critical, but almost critical health, and one opening could do it here, but Residential's unfazed, just getting a lot of damage back, and suddenly in a slight lead even.
Yeah, these structures overall just giving causing a lot of trouble for Residential, but you know, they're being able to overcome that with with things like Fadeaway, just ending that game right there, and overall just playing more around the spells that don't require that don't require moving through structures. So stuff like Fadeaway, stuff like Rag.
Yep, and now it's gonna be a little interesting to see how Otaku Pirate deals with it. But so far, it's all Residential, and so much damage coming in. You sit in the front row, like you said. If you're predictably in the front row, then Residential will land those raw Ragnaroks, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, as even the SD turret is negated away, and that's some big damage Bow Snipe attempted, but Otaku Pirate doesn't panic.
Yeah, definitely important to not panic when you're fighting a deck like this. And Otaku Pirate once again, really just walling out, and now with the 4 spell power. Oh, unfortunately not getting anything off of that though, but overall Residential managing to kind of adapt to Otaku Pirate's defense patterns and really being able to land more hits in this game.
Yeah, Otaku Pirate needs to find an opening, but it's not easy here. The guillotine's so scary, and the Poland guillotine will kill here, right? The execute threshold will be reached at that point, so always a threat. But wait a second, big damage from Otaku Pirate, but not quite enough. The kinetic wave so scary if you're lingering in the front row. If you get pulled by attack return, there's the kinetic wave, and there's the Ragnarok. Residential will close out the set.
Yep, and the taunt as well. But yeah, Residential definitely playing very well there in order to, you know, that was definitely a difficult thing for them to fight. You know, it was, you could tell, right? Residential really having to slow down a bit. And kind of just having to aim a bit more and just think a bit more in order to get around these structures that are blocking the Triple Barrel and the Bow Snipe, and you know, preventing them from being able to just walk up and kinetic wave whenever they wanted to, right? But they made the necessary adjustments and adaptations to overcome that struggle.
Yep, and now we're heading to the final winners topic qualifier, Airy and Sans. This is going to be an interesting one, because I haven't looked at what deck Sans is piloting. I'll check the deck list in just a second, but Sans is... Oh, okay. Sans is running what everyone knows Sans for.
Well, I don't know. Sans has been making some new stuff recently, so there's a few things now. I'm assuming he means he's Tetra.
Yeah, it's looking like the classic. It's looking
okay.
It's looking pretty vanilla in terms of what we expect from Sans.
Yeah, because you know, now there's that Rava slow ball cheese. So there's that we have to think about that they ran recently. But yeah, so we have Airy and Sans coming in right now. So Sans definitely on the more defensive side, I believe. When playing, so let's see if Airy is able to kind of crack through that, right? Airy is being able to kind of get through, who are they fighting before, right? They fought Lepton, right?
Yeah.
Airy being able to, you know, their offense being strong enough to prevail against Lepton. I got show broken and gone. What?
Sans was exploring.
Hey, those bots can be scary sometimes. Those bots don't miss.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a test for Airy, but I don't know. I believe in her.
Well, we will find out if Ari has what it takes to take down Sans, a very, very capable player. One of the winner of the won an alpha of the Alphas tournament, as well as just being very high ranked on the leaderboard. But
Oh, that was a weird interaction. You got stuck on one of the Tetras with the shield and pulled regardless, but not eating too much big damage here. Another Tetra coming out from Sans, and we're gonna have to see if Ari can find any big openings. But Sans is kind of like, I guess, checking Ari's reaction to things, I feel like, in these first few seconds of the game.
honestly, that's a lot of time. The first game's for. It's not even uncommon to kind of see someone take the first game off of like one of these really strong players and then just get swept for the rest of the bracket, because the first game is them reading your habits, adjusting to your play style, and then the next games, once they've made those adjustments, it can be a lot harder to take them out after that.
Oh, and here's the big damage. Just triple barrel. The backstab attempted, but a good shield by Ari actually mitigates a good chunk of that. Trying to stay alive in this first game here. Trying to find an opening, but Sans is much more elusive than her past opponents, it appears. And the defense is really stumping Ari's offense, I feel like.
Yeah, this is when you start to see kind of one of the issues with Spear Wave that isn't really an issue at kind of like the mid-high levels of play, right? Is when Spear Wave is usually consistent damage, but when you're fighting someone who can consistently dodge it, then you lose that. And if Spear Wave is a large amount of your DPS in your deck, then that could be a really big issue.
Yeah, but that was a good chunk from Ari, but getting chunked out by that classic Toretto weapon, the combo starter, Sans, with the punish and with the game going up 1-0, and we're gonna have to see if anything changes here.
Yep, Sans taking game one and immediately starting off the second game with a downfall into Tetra, and then immediately shuffling. But Ari already down a fairly sizable lead, managing to close that gap just a little bit with the Spear Wave, but still has a bit of a ways to go.
Yep, and really needs to find a way to not get hit by that secondary as often, right? Sans getting so much value off of it when Ari returns from one of those step spells, and it's gonna be tough. A lot of Ari's offense does depend on those, but Sans is counterplaying that too well.
Yeah, Sans kind of just sitting back and kind of just properly dealing with whatever hand Ari comes up with. And oh my goodness, the dodge on the push slash in the front there, because it's just like, if you know what your opponent's hand is and what it can do, then you just know where you need to stand, where they're gonna go, right? And then even the push slash, Sans reacting to the push slash coming in the hand and immediately dodging.
Yeah, and actually catching the step forward from Ari with the first weapon, not even the second, and now Ari at a very low health. There's the catch on the movement from Sans, and 2-0. It's looking a little decisive.
Yeah, definitely want to be hit stepping not up and down against you. It will not help very much. Someone's kind of catching Ari with that kind of multiple times throughout this set. Once again, the dodge, only getting 4 damage off of what should have been 12.
Oh.
But Ari managing to find a little bit more damage there.
Oh, and Ari with the follow-up as well. Already at half health is Sans, but this could be huge. Sans trying to get more damage out here, but doesn't really have the hand for it, and will just abandon it pretty quickly, not wasting any time. But Ari, unfazed from the 2 losses, right? Still hit stepping, still getting out of all of these situations, and putting together quite a good combo to start off this game. We'll see if she can convert here, but it's gonna be a long road to try and reach this Spear Wave.
Yeah, definitely. And even though Ari does have a decent, or did have a decent lead, it's still a long road to go. You definitely still want to be careful. Sans is playing a deck that does have the damage potential to just close a lot of gaps kind of immediately if you get hit by the wrong things at the wrong time.
Alright, Ari stepping forward, but Sans calmly camping the back row, knows that it's safe, knows that he has a reaction time to deal with anything that Ari's throwing out at the moment. It's going to take a lot from Ari, and a misstep from Sans, a rare misstep, means a lot of damage back, and Sans doesn't quite have the cards to capitalize on getting those openings on Ari. Just a little bit of chip damage. Now Ari needs to find one opening.
Oh no, the triple barrel from Sans taking probably pretty much half of Ari's remaining HP and the downfall. Fortunately for Aerie, Son's not getting anything off of that, and Aerie's still having an opportunity to close this game, but unfortunately gets hit by the W2 into the C's. That'll be game 3 for Sans.
Well fought, especially on the last game by Aerie, but Sans' defense was a little too much to overcome, and Sans stamps his ticket for the winner side of top 8. We'll be facing Hubskoa a little bit later on, and we're going to have to go down to the loser side a little bit. But we're probably just going to head right into winner's top 8.
Yes, we will. All right, let's take a look at some of the bracket updates. So it looks like Gret is out against Varia.
Ooh.
I believe that's Fireflies, right? Varia? I think that's Fireflies in Discord. And then we have JKS did beat Mecha
Okay.
All right, so they did beat Mecha and Lepton. Honestly, that is quite impressive, and unfortunately, their luck ran out when they fought Lux. But definitely a very impressive losers run by JKS, taking out 2 strong players like that. But so we are going to see Lux in top 8 already. And then who else? Who else are we going to see? We're going to see Aerie versus Togpire versus Sargly, and got Aneurysms versus Varia.
That one's going to be interesting to watch. They're going at it, and so are Togpire and Sargly. Togpire, I think, has, if I remember correctly, done pretty well against Celsius. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like that's what my memory is telling me. But Sargly has a Sunday Shuffle under his belt, right? He is one of the Shuffler Supreme, so not going to go down too easily.
Yeah, but I have heard. I believe Selkies actually some Selkie players have said that they do not like the Hazel matchup because the bonk is quite painful, right? So I've kind of heard that from some of them. So we'll see how this set will turn out in the future. But which one are we spectating now?
We're gonna head into winner's top 8 actually, right now, and we're gonna go to the one that we didn't see a player of. We're gonna go Icarus Diver versus Residential first.
Okay. So Icarus versus Residential. That's gonna be Shopkeeper and Rava.
Yep. And it looks like Residential is indeed listening to our every move already in the lobby.
I will be kind of interested to see how Icarus is going to kind of get around Shopkeeper's kit. But Icarus is actually, now that I think about it, with Quad Claws in the deck, like Shopkeeper could definitely kind of have a hard time, right? Losing a lot of that damage, because like a lot of Shopkeeper's damage comes from like 2 card confirms, right? And Shopkeeper really only kind of expects to hit maybe like 1 or 2 of those cards per cycle, but like losing half of that cycle, that she might be hitting 0 cards per cycle a lot more often. So yeah. I'm definitely interested to see how this card is going to interact with Shopkeeper.
Also, while we're here and while Residential is looking at the stream, do you prefer Residential, Rifle, or Julie? Those are 3 completely different names.
I think I've always been saying Residential. So personally, I think I prefer Residential because I've pretty much always called them that. But I don't know which one they prefer. Can I summon my inner purple? Maybe Rez will summon their inner purple here.
Definitely a possibility. Match is found. We're heading into it. Another variation on the name, A Rifle. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Didn't it just say Julie?
Yeah, it did. I swear it just said
How are they changing it without even leaving the game?
And in the lobby it said
Wait,
Rifle,
what?
right?
How did that... I don't... It says Julie in the chat. What?
Wait, for me it says Rifle. We're desynced.
Oh my... Oh. Okay. This has gotten complex. We're being mixed and we're not even playing the game.
Well, so far, even though taking an early deficit, Residential
Intercepted.
is hitting the big damage, not really feeling the pain of being ejected so far.
Yeah, definitely quite a strong start right there. Pretty much just immediately getting the rag combo and then getting a guillotine right after. But Icarus easily closing that gap, so it will not be a deficit. And I think one thing Residential is going to have to watch out for in this matchup, besides that eject clause removing half their deck, is Brava can kind of just go straight through that trap with shield badge.
Yeah, and another thing to note is that Residential isn't really a big shuffler. Residential really likes just spending every single card in the hand, even when the last card doesn't really feel like it's going to land. So I think the eject might be especially good if it can be landed very often by Icarus, but I don't know, it's looking scary. 19 health against the Shopkeep. That guillotine is lurking in the background, and Icarus is getting some damage back though. 10 health is also not a lot to work with.
Yes, that guillotine is coming up, but with Residential at such low HP, there's a chance that Icarus can finish them off before that happens, and they did. Icarus taking game 1, even after such a large HP deficit.
Yep, and that's kind of what we expect here, but actually catching the movement, getting the guillotine, and taking a bit of a lead here is Rez, but gets caught in the back row. Icarus with the big string, and now a significant amount of health in the lead.
Yeah, Residential managing to get like sort of temporary leads, but Icarus just being able to close those gaps so efficiently. And I believe now kind of Icarus is kind of getting a bit more used to these attacks, these positional setups that Residential is throwing out, and is starting to adjust. And I think Residential is having a bit much of a hard time finding hits now.
Yeah, the defense is coming in, and of course the constant pokes from the Rava weapon are really annoying here, but actually getting caught by the self-defenser at that time, a little bit more damage back for Residential, trying to find an opening, but the big damage cards are a little bit deep in the hand this time, and might be a little bit too late to win this game, as one final kunai is what snipes Residential, I believe, and Icarus taking the second game as well.
Yeah, Icarus defense is just too strong. Oh, that was a little bit of a I don't know if you saw that. That looked like a little bit of a spike.
Yeah, wow.
With rollback, they kind of teleported a bit, but yeah, Icarus just having really good defense and being able to play offense while playing defense at the same time to these spells. But not at that moment, unfortunately getting hit by that kinetic wave into the Ragnarok.
Yeah, that type of 40 damage is what Rez needs at the moment, and going for a little bit more with the align with the Ragnarok. Okay, Rez getting the combos out, having a lot of tools to start them as well. The front row so dangerous. The tax return's very dangerous as well, as Icarus just dances around them, doesn't get hit, and it's going to be very critical for Rez to get one more opening here. One tax return can do it, one pull can do it, and there's the triple barrel. One game for Residential.
Yeah, Residential catching the failed invade attempt there and getting the kinetic wave on the way back. So Missile Force definitely going to have to be a bit more careful about that. And Residential just immediately, once again, starting another game with a solid lead with a fadeaway guillotine at the start.
Yeah, and I think Rez is much more willing to shuffle now, and I think that's doing them a lot of good here, because against a deck like Icarus's and against a player like Missile Force, like, you just have to keep up the pace. You have to keep up the cards you're throwing out. If you linger for too long on a bad hand, then you'll just take too much damage in the process.
Yeah, once you get to this level of play, like everyone's offense is just so good, right? So, oh my goodness, and speaking of offense, oh my gosh, the kinetic wave into the right and then landing the fadeaway setup. But speaking of offense, like your offense has to be really good, right? Because you can't play defense forever against these players. But Violette,
What?
what? Missile Icarus on Violette? I have never seen this.
Very interesting collection of cards too, right?
Okay, well, I can't give any insight here because I've literally never seen this, and this is also
Transmute Fadeaway?
yeah,
In a deck like this?
I've also never seen a strategy like this either. So we will see how hard Icarus is cooking after this game. But I will say I have never seen this before. But immediately starting off with that bomb setup right there, so getting a little bit of a lead going.
Oh, and yeah, Icarus is moving, and I think if you're residential, you're kind of thrown off by this, right? It is a little scary. It's like a little shopkeeper-esque in the way that how like you just have to dodge so much, and I think that could just be really scary to face. And I think the pace of this deck, but you know, sometimes a line Ragnarok is eternal, and that's exactly what's found there.
Yeah, Ragnarok really just putting in a lot of work for residential in this set. But Icarus does have a fairly solid lead here, and it's gone because Rag's putting in the work. All right.
Yep, and the Vivisection too, so scary, right? 5 damage projectiles at such a rapid fire rate across so many rows, and this bomb is looking a little bit scary. The Spear Wave setup from the inverter, and a 4 health bomb is so difficult to deal with. Trying to clear it away, dodging away the Spear Wave. 13 health and Dream against 8 on the side of Icarus. Residential needs one good hit here, but the bomb is so scary. The bomb with the inverter in hand almost explodes, and that was so hard to read.
The inverter on the bomb exploding it and just teleporting it, like there's just no way you could have seen that coming or knowing where the bomb was going to go. In that case, wow, what a very strong little tactic there to end that game for Icarus, and the counter peg working out in the end. I will say that's new. I haven't seen Violette run inverter or Spear Wave or half those cards, but I mean, it got the W at the end of the day.
That was the ending to that was absolutely ridiculous. Icarus cooked, I guess. Wow. I was not expecting that. I thought Residential had it in the bag after landing the big damage, after stabilizing the game, right? But in the end, at low health with a bomb on the field, not having too many tools. And actually, I think, looking back at the replays, Residential actually greeting the kinetic wave, wanting to go for the kill with it, not clearing away the bomb using it, like a lot of players tend to do. And that was the downfall right there.
Yeah, often against Violette, like that bomb closes out so many games. You just want to optimize, you just want to prioritize clearing that over just pretty much anything else. But I'm gonna take a look at this losers bracket now, and it looks like it is finished up. So it looks like we have Varia / Fireflies taking it 3-0 over Aneurysms. We have we have Airy winning their set. Very close set, 3-2 against Usea. We have Darjali winning over Otaku Pirates, so we're going to see 2 Selgies down there. And then obviously we had Lux earlier who already won their set. So we now have a complete top 8, I believe.
Yep, the top 8 is complete, and we are heading into the other winner side match here. It is Sans versus Hubscoa, and it's going to be an interesting one, especially because it's a bit of a clash of 2 different playstyles again, but also 2 very defensive players.
Yeah, we got defense versus defense. Oh, look at Sans. He doesn't expect to fight so many Spear Waves today. While he fights Icarus's VLA, he'll be fighting another Spear Wave deck next if he wins this. So that'll be interesting. And if he goes into losers and fights Ariel, he'll be fighting Spear Wave again. Spear Wave will never end for you, Sans. Not today.
Yep, and Sans, just such a good player, sitting in the back row so comfortably, and it's kind of similar to the previous matchup in a way, right? Sans' last opponent was Airy, and Hubscoa runs a pretty similar deck, and the defensive counterplay is pretty similar.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably working a bit to Hubscoa's disadvantage here. Lasan's already being warmed up to this matchup a bit, having to deal with Spear Wave earlier already, and kind of knowing what to do to get around it. So Hubscoa definitely having a bit taller of a wall to climb than Airy did.
And with the chain on the Hue, that is some big damage for Sans. Going for a little bit of C's action maybe in the next few seconds, trying to find a time to use it, maybe a triple barrel as well, trying to catch Hubskoa off guard here, but Hubskoa going for the counter hits, dodging away, getting one successfully there, and the defense from Hubskoa really coming into play.
Yeah, definitely a very slow game. You know, we're a minute in, and neither players have hit half HP until just now, with Sans managing to get that little string right there with the C's, but still, you know, this isn't that bad of an HP deficit. Hubskoa can still close this out, but you know, maybe against Sans it is that bad.
Yeah, it is a little difficult. Although Hubskoa has played incredible defense, Sans is also sitting at such a comfortable HP lead here, 72-13, the downfall attempted, and Hubskoa at critical health. It is such a dangerous spot to be in.
Yep. Oh my goodness, not just catching, just straight up baiting the invade there. Catching Hubskoa, trying to move in, and then pushing Hubskoa into the Tetra zone. That was just an excellent play there by Sans, and that was not even random either. That was planned out. So very strong plays by Sans there, but Hubskoa definitely gonna need to make a lot of adaptation to get past that insane defense.
Well, Spear Wave is gone. It is a different Hubskoa we're seeing here against Sans this time, and this deck saw a lot of success against Hubskoa's previous opponent, right, in Aneurysm, so we'll have to see if it does the same effect here.
Yep. But now we're going to head into game 2, so let's see what Justin's Hubskoa will make, because this will not be an easy battle, just with Sans' defense being so strong. But Hubskoa does have the tools, you know, with pull and inverter in order to get Sans from out back there, but never have to watch out for the C's Tetra combos.
Yep, the Tetra coming in, Hubskoa with the pressure, but a lot of pressure on Hubskoa to try and find some damage here. Sans though, so defensive, right? Just sitting in the rear columns, and Hubskoa is going to have to be really on point with the defense, only getting hit by one hit of that C's and staying alive here, but this is, I guess, it's hard to call it good for Hubskoa, right? Still 18 health down, but definitely a more stable game state than last time. Just as I say that, never mind.
Yeah, line triple barrel into the Tetra, you know, like Sans really just taking his time, you know, just sitting in the back, you know, he doesn't need to move up unless there's a legitimate threat causing him to move up, all right? And then just finding these hits, like that triple barrel, again, you know, just finding the small windows, getting those hits in, and just straight up outpacing Hubskoa, because Hubskoa can't hit him.
Oh, and Hubskoa might go to deck 3 here. It's definitely a possibility, because this is looking a little bit tough, and I'm not quite sure what's a possibility. I believe Hubskoa brought the, where is it? Hubskoa brought only Saffron, and I believe they brought Dreadworm last tournament, but they can't really go to it here. And Airy style, whoa! Speaking of deck names,
Well, Sans changed title.
Yep.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
I did not say that earlier.
Wait, this deck is just called Airy Style. It is Airy Style, and we'll see if Hubskoa can play that fast-paced type of gameplay.
Yeah, even though the deck is called Airy Style, Hubskoa is very much not Airy Style. I guess they play quite differently, but who knows? Maybe it will be the answer that Hubskoa needs to overcome this.
Yeah. And playing this deck quite differently, right? Sitting in the back column and trying to find an opening slowly. A good dodge on the backstab, nothing extra damage, but on the return, much like the previous game that Sans had, getting caught on the return, and Sans is just so solid on the defense.
And like one thing I especially want to point out is like Sans isn't like over like moving, right? He's not moving too much, right? He's not walking into things like pull or into unnecessary projectiles, right? Like only making the necessary movements to get out of the way. You know, like that is just, it's just so hard for Hubskoa to land these hits. You know, Sans won't panic at all. just not even moving until it's necessary. You can't really fish that hard.
Oh, but good counterplay by Hupskoa, not getting damaged at all by that seize, going forward and getting some damage of their own, but has to be really careful here around that spear. Finally collects it, but it's still a little bit tough. Not too big of a health deficit, but we know that that could turn around in just an instant. The aligned triple barrel, and it is no longer close. It is Sans looking to close out this game, and Hupskoa desperately trying to stay in it. The spear wave dodged away from, and there's some more seize damage.
And once again, Sans just finding those hits, you know, even I think Sans even timing some of these punishes, right, on Hupskoa's attempts, you know, things like invade. Oh my goodness, catching him there with the aligned Tetra into the W2. That will be taking the third game. Sans defense just too on point for Hupskoa to get past it.
Yep. And not a bad effort by Hupskoa, right? But Sans was like a brick wall. That guy did not budge a single step in terms of defense, just stood in the back column, and it looked so frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, it can definitely be really frustrating, you know, when you can't land your hits, you know, because you just can't hit your opponent. You know, I've been in that situation before, you know, back when I was a newbie, right? I remember fighting JPSK and just being completely unable to hit him, and it frustrated me so much. That's why my aim is so good today. It's because of that frustration. But, you know, we'll see. Maybe we'll see Hupskoa come back stronger next time from this defeat.
Yeah, but that Aerie style deck might have been a bit of foreshadowing, because we're heading to losers top 8 now, and we're seeing Aerie versus Varia, and I believe this is a winner side rematch, right? Aerie, the one who knocked Varia to losers in the very first round, and Varia's back all the way in top 8.
Yes, they are. So we are going to see, what is this? We're going to be seeing Selkie versus Saffron here. So, honestly, probably two fairly aggressive decks here going head to head. So we will see whose offense kind of comes out on top here. Who can out offense the other?
Yep. We're heading into game now. Aerie versus Varia, and whoa, Duelists community and interesting in-game names. Name a better duo. The Fireflies never appeared.
All right, and now let's get into it. Firefly's landing a little bit of a small hit here, but it is still very much an even game. We got a bit of whiff spells on Aerie's side. Still a lot of still a lot of cards in Firefly's hand.
And wow, Varia getting a big chunk of damage here, and looking to keep the lead going. Sitting in the back row, great defensive counterplay and a shield break as well. Going in for so much damage on the shield break, and Aerie at a huge deficit now, but still going for a lot of damage back, interrupting with the minigun as well. And Aerie in not the worst of spots still, despite that big damage and shield break coming out from Varia.
Yeah, definitely optimizing that shield break damage. You know, that's really something you see that often on Selkie players, optimizing that. But overall, Firefly's just playing really well, using that Hailblade in the back to kind of just harass Aerie, trying to stay back there, and, you know, abusing that area of effect.
Yep. And Aerie now trying to find an opening and actually baiting Varia, who was trying to punish that catch on the spear. And now it's a little bit tough, right? The Frost Slash is going to do so much damage when you're at those Frost stacks. And there's the whirl. There's the extra slashes afterwards. And great coverage from Varia. They take the first game.
Yes, and now we're heading into game 2. Aerie 1 game down. And once again, just overall, Firefly's Varia just being super good at hitting these pokes. You know, even when they whiff one spell, they just hit the next one, just like that, right?
Yep. And another health lead, like you said, and just dodging away from a lot of Aerie's attempts very, very well, and actually getting the sweet spot there as well. A huge health lead for Varia. Aerie trying to find an opening, but Varia is playing this so well.
Yeah, Varia just really good at finding these hits, you know, really making the most out of all of these spells, but Aerie is down a fairly solid bit of HP, and now that Frost Slash in hand gonna be proccing the next time it lands. Aerie definitely gonna have to be very careful here. And there it is, the land, but unfortunately no punish.
Yeah, can't get anything afterwards, and Varia took so much damage trying to fish for that, and that could be Aerie's way back into this game at 12 health, but still a very doable comeback here. But a lot of damage back, going for the sweet spot, not quite landed, and that means another opportunity for Aerie. The kinetic wave as well, and to finish it off, Aerie evens up the set, but that was down to the wire.
Yeah, down to the wire indeed, but Aerie managing to prevail at the end there. Now let's see if they can to keep that up. But once again, Firefly is just starting off with a not major lead, but a decent size, you know. And Aerie are gonna have to play a bit down.
Yeah, Varia with quite a big lead here and trying to maintain it as well as last time, as the first game. But these are the moments where Aerie kind of finds her way back into the game, right? The moments where Varia goes to fish for a card, doesn't quite land it. But as I'm saying that, the health lead just widens to 40 health, and now it's looking quite difficult, trying to go for a timing on the Spear Wave, but doesn't choose to use it.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I don't know if that was just, you know, a panic shuffle, but Spear Wave definitely, you know, why not just throw it out? You know, couldn't hurt. But fortunately, that gap once again widening, hitting the Spear Wave, but it's still a 50 HP deficit that they have to get around.
Yep, and the deficit is only getting scarier. 5 health remaining, and Varia fishing, looking, and there's the game for Varia. 2-1 now, sitting 1 game away from advancing, knocking Aerie out, and for revenge, that was something in winners round 1. I think this is a long time coming if Varia manages to close it out.
Yeah, but actually Aerie starting off with the lead here, and just as I say that, no longer starting off with the lead, but now we got a bit of Duelist of Eden neutral happening right there with nothing but the silence breaking there.
And these are the type of game states where Aerie needs to find her footing, right? Find an opening, find that Spear Wave to start a bit of a lead and make Varia be the one on the back foot. But it is Varia this game who is on point with the consistent damage, and that's a lot of Frost in hand against a 2 Frost stack, but countered out of it. That could have been devastating for Aerie, but surviving there.
Yeah, but that Frost Slash is not quite out of the radar yet, although countering. The Frost is still there, you know, it's still dangerous, and now it is a threat in the next hand. But Aerie is doing amazing so far, widening that lead in HP right now, and now we're going to be looking for a Spear Wave coming up soon.
Yeah, and that's like 4 critical counter hits in a row, but there's a Frost Slash, there's big damage back, looking for a Spear Wave, looking to fake Varia out, and that's a lot of damage. 6 health remaining. Aerie's gonna start fishing here, but a big opening from Varia. Now it's a lot more even, and going for the Spear Wave here, but no spears. No spears means no big damage from the Spear Wave, and Varia's sitting pretty comfortable here.
Oh, but Aerie actually managing to successfully fish for the step lance before Varia does. Varia connecting the step lance, but actually, unfortunately, with the Aerie shield right there. But Aerie with the Spear Wave in hand right now, unfortunately not going to be doing much due to it only being 1, but Aerie finding the kinetic wave to close out that game, and now we're going to bring it to the final game, Game 5.
Game 5 is here, and that game, Aerie got a lot of value off of the counter hits. Varia went in, there was always something like the minigun, like the sparkler. Everything was on point for Aerie in the counter hits, but if Varia just approaches off angle and gets a lot of damage from those 3 wide slashes, I think that could be really bad for Aerie.
Yeah, Aerie really is going to have to watch out for these just off-angle approaches by Seliki, and, you know, even if, you know, when Fireflies does whiff one of these attacks, you know, that's not the end of it, right? There's still potentially 2 more coming, right?
Yeah.
So Aerie overall just having to be very careful of that. But we see a very close game right now.
but there's a lot of Frost in hand and 2 Frost stacks. There's the Frost proc, but again, a good counter by Airy means big damage back and a bit of a lead for Airy, but you still have to mind the Frost stack. There's big damage with the Whirl, and suddenly a huge lead for Varia, cashing out on the Frost, having the Snow Cone in hand as well to put more pressure down on the Frost, and getting 3 stacks. That's so much damage for Varia. Now, Airy's at lethal. 1 opening is all it takes, but so is Varia. Good confident counter hits from Airy getting in there. Varia going in for the second time though, and Airy isn't ready. Varia takes the set.
Yes, great plays over there by Varia at the end there, closing out that game with the shear. But definitely that was a very awesome set. Both players really giving it their all. And going to game 5, it was very, very close. But Varia ultimately coming out on top, having that stronger offense.
Yeah, incredibly close, incredibly well played. That was down to the absolute wire, and they traded sets 1 and 1 in this tournament. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing both of them in future tournaments, because that was a good set. But next up is Lux and Sargly. This is a match that we've seen quite a few times over the past few weeks. This was the grand finals of one of the Sunday Shuffles way back, and also one of the early losers round matchups after both got upset, I believe. So this is something that we've been seeing multiple times over, and historically I think Sargly had the bigger win, right? Actually winning one of these Sunday Shuffles with it. But Lux, this is not the same Lux as back then.
Yeah, Lux definitely a very different player. Has improved massively over the past few weeks, right? So we will definitely see if Sargly is still capable of winning this player matchup. But soon we will find out. As right now we head into game 1.
Wow, Sargly immediately flexing the Shuffler Supreme title. This is... You could think of it as Sargly's home turf, right? I think the only Sunday Shuffle winner in this tournament. So, technically on the title defense here with no Mickle, no Perp, and no Donkey Konga, and also no Fun Guy.
My goodness, but Sargly just starting off with an absolutely massive combo there. I think that was like 40-something damage or whatever, but, Lux already at half HP, and, Selkie is not usually a character you see that kind of damage coming from in just one combo, right? It's usually more like kind of melee chip you down, but Sargly just with these absolutely massive combos.
Yeah, and we saw, like, the start of something like this in their first meeting, and now we're seeing it fully unleashed from Sargly. Back then, Sargly actually swapped off of the Celicy and swap back to it to clutch out the tournament, but here we're seeing a very confident Sargly who is ready to just close it out 3-0 fashion if we're seeing the momentum like this.
Oh my goodness. Lux with some very very good micro movements right there in order to avoid death. Unfortunately getting caught by the K-Wave afterwards though, up in the front, and Sargly will be taking game 1, but those were some absolutely massive combos that game.
Yeah, and with how well Sargly is playing, this C's is not getting too much value, right? Because Sargly's just going in, doesn't care about the C's, just treats it as his own boxing ring, I feel like.
Yes, and now Lux honestly gonna have to be a bit careful. Typically Lux has the advantage in terms of DPS in a lot of matchups, but from what we've seen in the last game, that advantage might not exist for this case. Oh my goodness, and Sargly reading the dodge and being patient right there with the Whirl. Oh, but Lux finding the Ragnarok and the shield break, but no punish.
Yeah, wait. The Ragnarok was the last thing in that hand, so that's actually a really good shield break for Sargly, right? Doesn't take that extra damage, I believe.
Yes, unfortunately for Lux, nothing to follow up off of that Ragnarok due to Coretta being unable to hit back there, so definitely was a shield. Once again, nothing.
These are the best value shield breaks ever, but might actually be going down here. It's getting a little tough for Sargly at 5 HP. 1 opening is all it takes, and Lux will close out the game.
Yeah, that time having Rag in hand, but not eating it, and having more cards to follow up with afterwards if it was necessary. But yeah, that was definitely that was some professional getting shield broke there. If you want to get shield broke, that's how you do it. But what you don't want to do is get hit by a large combo like that at the start of a game. Sargly already at pretty much a 44 HP deficit from just one combo.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the downside of Sargly's playstyle, right? Playing really confidently in the front row, but if you play confidently in the front row against Lux, you're always at risk of getting caught like that. The big damage coming out from Lux, and Sargly bearing the brunt of it. 13 health remaining. Critical health. The world comes out. 1 health and a dream, but the Hue will close it out. Lux up 2-1.
2 combos and 88 damage. This is the kind of set we're watching right now. Both players just absolutely obliterating each other with these combos. You know, Sargly in the first game, half helping Lux in seconds, and then Lux putting just back-to-back 44 HP combos. Oh, man.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for Sargly, though, because I feel like Lux is really adapted to the pace that Sargly is playing at, and Sargly's tendency to really want to play in the front row for these big combos.
Yes, and playing in the front row always comes at a risk, especially against a character like this. Unfortunately, Sargly not properly reacting to that line and getting caught by the Rag afterwards, but I'm going to be camping the back there. Unfortunately,
Technically, wait. The funny thing is, Sargly's at lethal right now with the right combination of cards. The triple barrel comes out, Lux catches out, but it's still such a dangerous situation for Sargly, right? If Lux had the perfect combination, it was lethal, but it is Lux who is at lethal right now. 3 health remaining. Sargly just needs 1 hit to close it out.
And there's the hit right there with the auto slash on the way back. And now we're moving into game 5. And I'm very interested to see just how explosive this one might be after watching the previous ones. Immediately starting off with a Tetra on Lux's side, being countered right there with the Whirl.
Really good shields from Lux, though, not taking unnecessary damage, and Sargly's going to have a little trouble playing the front row. Does cash out, though, and immediately shuffles, gets out of there, and no triple barrel land from Lux means that it's a little bit scary for Lux here. Needs to find an opening, goes for the Align Ragnarok, but not quite, and now Sargly in quite a good position, has a full hand to work with, gets the Frost stack as well, but can't quite find the Whirl.
Oh my goodness, alright, Sargly getting the Entangle right there. Unfortunately not that much to follow up with, but getting another Entangle and the shield break. Now we're gonna see the Kinetic Wave. Oh no, not the Kinetic Wave. Oh my goodness! What an absolutely insane shield break punish! Sargly just flat out killing Lux at half
That was
HP.
optimal! I didn't think Sargly had the kill there.
Wow, was somebody put that on Will It Kill or not?
that is Will It Kill worthy.
Wow, just an absolutely insane combination of cards there. Just completely optimized use of those spells. Everything in the right order to maximize that damage out in order to close out that game. What an absolutely insane way to close this set.
That was one of those spots where you're like, Lux is definitely safe. There's no way Lux is dying to this. Sure, she will be very low, but there's still a chance that she gets a big damage combo. But no! Sargly just had it. What?
So he just closes out the game, you know? You're just like, I'm half HP, I'm good, right? Sargly said, no, you're not good, you're dying.
Yeah, but there's one constant in the world, and it's that Lux Sargly will always be a banger set. Every single time.
Yes, that was very much a banger set. Such explosive damage coming out on both ends. Man, and just finishing off with that amazing combo right there. But yeah, that was an absolute blast to watch.
Now we're heading into losers quarters. It is Residential versus Varia, and Varia saying my deck can't do that, but you know, you are in top 6 and you're against Residential.
Alright. We got both players in right now. Looks like Rez is Julie right now. Don't know what I'll see once the match starts, if I see a different name or not, but they are Julie right now. And now we have Fireflies coming in. Have these two fought earlier? They haven't, right?
No, they haven't, because Varia got knocked in to losers round 1 by Airy.
Okay. Alright, so this is the first time we're seeing these two fighting. So we have overall Fireflies was just a really strong offense in general. Being very good at hitting after missing. Missing spells while invading and then just hitting with something else. Really knowing how to properly land those hits. But Rifle, also being able to land those hits just like that and being able to make the most of them. Already, oh my goodness, what is with this tournament and these large combos?
Yeah, some big damage decks coming in here, and Residential, of course, no exception, piloting the Shopkeeper, trying to get in a line down, but all things considered, even despite that big shield break, this game is surprisingly close, right? Only a 17 health deficit.
Yes, indeed. This game isn't definitely is not lost for Fireflies just yet. They could still definitely come back from this, but once again, HP deficits are not that good. Definitely not something you want against this character. But Sergeant, oh my god, I'm mixing up the Selkies now. Fireflies managing to close that gap fairly quickly.
Oh, and even getting the push slash as well, getting the self defenser, but I think they'll take those. If your Fireflies in a shield break of their own here, not quite getting the kill, but that's a lot of damage, and now Residential well and truly in lethal.
Oh my goodness, and getting that Frost proc right there to close up the game, trading with that triple barrel, but that trade paying off. But oh my goodness, someone should start a shield break counter for how many we see in this tournament. We've seen so many so far, and they've been so devastating.
Oh, and a great hit step actually by Varia to stay alive there and going in regardless, but Rez did land that big damage, so this game is still being kept very, very close, and I think might see a guillotine next. We're gonna see a lot of shield breaks. Yeah, like you said, so many so far, and we're bound to see more because a lot of these players are so good at pressuring that shield.
Yeah, they really make it hard to find the proper situation to shield, because you tap the shield button and then it's like, oh no, I'm locked in shield, or you can't hold it for very long before they cast additional spells and they just break right through it. But we have Residential here with just a little bit of an HP lead, nothing major, but an HP lead nonetheless, but increasing that gap with a triple barrel rag immediately afterwards.
And now it just needs, honestly, half an opening to kill here, but Varia still in a decent position. Just needs to be really careful of these tax returns because they can lead to death against Rez. Trying to find an opening, but Rez is zoning out the front row so well and dodging away from the whirl as well, not taking any unnecessary damage at all.
Yeah, Residential definitely looking to fish for a K-Wave right here to close up this game. Really holding on to it, trying probably to catch a failed invade attempt on the way back, but Firefly just being overall very careful and not giving Residential the opportunity to use that K-Wave, and is slowly closing the gap as a result.
Oh, and there's the bow snipe. Rez playing it slowly, bleeding a lot of health, but it doesn't matter if you close out the game. It really, really patiently played and well done. I think that's something we see a lot from Residential, right? When they have any sort of health lead and they know that the next opening will kill, they're fine to burn through even almost all of their health. Like sometimes they're on single digit when they close it out, but they're just patiently waiting for that singular opening, and I really like how they're not afraid to just completely use the health as a resource. But in the opening stages of this game, it is once again Ragnarok attempted, not quite dodged away from, and Varia staying healthy here. It is looking a little dangerous though as another guillotine lands, and this game is being kept very close again.
Yes, and now we have a still fairly even game right here. Fireflies with a somewhat decent lead, but neither player is really having that strong of a hand right now in order to land anything. But as I say that, Residential coming up with the K-Wave into the triple barrel in hand, but not really finding any hits so far.
Yeah, and the old Residential thing of trying to spend every card is a little bit back here, and that kind of means that Varia has the advantage in momentum. Has a hand ready to play and a line countered away. It is Varia with so much damage, and Residential's going to need more than one opening to come back from this one as Varia's going in yet again, but good movement from Residential not to get caught.
Yeah, but that Frost Slash is going to start looking real scary now. Oh, but not if the Ragnarok connects, and now both players are going to have to be scared of each other. But right now, Residential with getting finished off by the Frost.
What an abrupt ending to that game. Varia closing it out, and now Residential in a little bit of trouble, right? Needs to play around the damage of Varia quite a bit, and unfortunately that last game kind of fell behind in terms of momentum in that game. Didn't get the shuffles off fast enough, and that meant Varia had a lot more pressure, it felt like, in the later stages.
Yeah, definitely. Residential definitely having the hand to close out the game at basically a better HP threshold, but Varia just having more opportunities to do so overall, just being able to really not brick at all due to the invade that Selkie has. It's not really bricking any card in your hand. That Push Slash is always available, the Step Lance is always available, Crossfire is always available, but Residential has to really find the proper hits.
And Varia's damage is so consistent. We're seeing it over and over again. The small openings are doing so much work in keeping this game close. Sure, Residential might find 20 plus damage, but if Varia is finding like 10 damage so often, then you're the one who's behind. And once again, Varia goes in, but here's the Kinetic Wave. There's only the Thunder though. No massive damage payoff for Residential. And now when the health is even, Varia's got to be a little bit careful though. There's the Bow Snipe and the Ragnarok both in hand.
And there's the Bow Snipe right there connecting, and now Varia at Ragnarok range, pretty much the next combo or connection against that Residential lands will kill, and there it is with the Gravitas into the Guillotine, taking that game. And now we're going to move into Game 5. Oh my goodness. This is another Game 5, right?
Yep. It is coming down to the wire in this loser side, and once again, it is consistent damage coming out and really fast movement from Varia, not getting caught in the back rows, but getting hit by one hit of triple barrel, not getting hit by two, no unnecessary damage this time, and some good slashes to make the lead even larger. But Residential has won from bigger deficits than this before. It'll all come down to Varia's defense in the later half of this game.
Yeah, Shopkeeper definitely being a character that is more than capable of closing a gap like this. So Varia will definitely not still need to keep up the good defense, unfortunately falling into that guillotine right there. But ooh, and there goes the lead just like that with the Kinetic Wave into the triple barrel, and now Varia having to play at a deficit.
Yeah, and with a lot of big damage cards available, there's the Thunder, there's One Piece, there's the Fadeaway. Residential looking for that guillotine threshold. One more hit, but actually it is Varia who goes in, gets all the damage back, and suddenly the game's looking a lot more even, especially after that tax return is dodged away from. No opening is found for Residential. Both players at very low HP at kill range, and Varia needs to find one more opening. The Frost in hand. One hit can do it.
Yes, just one more hit, and there is Frost in hand. Frost Slash taking the game, and Varia taking the set over Residential. But man, what an absolutely close set, right? This is like, how many close sets have we had now? It's like Airy versus Varia 2-3, Sargently Lux 2-3, Rifle Varia 2-3. Every set is going to Game 5.
And I think this next one's also going to be a pretty close one. If I had to guess, it's Hubskoa versus Sargly. This is definitely a matchup that I'm interested in watching. Sargly, of course, we saw the big damage. We saw the excellent neutral as well, but Hubskoa has the defense and doesn't really need to sit in the front row, right? And I think Sargly thrives against players like Lux who get their big damage on the front row, but Hubskoa is kind of the polar opposite.
Yeah, we kind of saw Hubskoa, against Aneurysms earlier, really abusing that fact that Aneurysms wanted to play in the front, and pretty much just, after the deck switch, really punishing Aneurysms for doing that. So this is definitely a Selkie deck that wants to play up close. So we will see if Hubskoa will make that same switch in order to counter this kind of play style. But the difference between, Selkie and Reva is that, Reva can't leave her field to bring you up front. Whereas Selkie's a bit better at doing that. So the same tactic may not work.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting matchup to see. I think a lot of it will be displayed in this first game. Both players got to feel each other out, and it's gonna be an interesting one to watch, especially this first game.
Yeah, but one thing I know for sure, if Sargly is pulling out those same explosive combos that they were landing against Lux, it may be difficult for Hubskoa to actually keep up with that kind of damage. with their current deck choice. But right now, it looks like Hubskull is playing some excellent defense right now, so it may not be necessary.
Yeah, just playing in the back columns, not really getting caught in the slightest. Finally, a little bit of damage for Sargly, but it almost feels like it's just tickling compared to what Sargly is capable of. But when Hubskull is playing in the back half of the map, that's just how it is. It's so much harder to land those openings.
Yeah, Sargly definitely have to work very hard right now in order to be able to land these combo starters. You know, when fighting Coretta, who likes to play in the front, it's a bit easier. But with the way Hubskull is playing right now, not only just overall sitting in the back, but having such strong defensive movement in order to avoid these attacks by Sargly, they're gonna have a really hard time. And there it is, a shield break right as I say that, and into the kinetic wave into a 36 damage combo. Oh my goodness.
All Sargly needs is that shield break to open up the game, to suddenly swing it into his favor. But Hubskull is still playing patiently, right? Going for the counter hits with the Sparkler, not getting caught by the Entangle, and Sargly's going to have to find another big opening to try and close out this game, but the counter hits from Hubskull are just so on point.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, Selkie, just the nature of her playstyle leaves a lot of room for her to be counter hit or punished on the return. You know, Hubskull taking advantage of those opportunities, unfortunately getting caught by the double team there into the whirl and getting finished off with the apprehend.
Sargly's forced to play a very different style than we saw, but
oh, here's the deck switch.
Looking very flexible, and yeah, we'll have to adapt once again because Hubskull is bringing out the deck that did take it over Aneurysms. It's going to be difficult, though, I think, for Hubskull still, because I think Sargly is locked in.
Yeah, it's arguably definitely locked in. And although this deck is better against people who like to play in the front, you know, Hubskull will also kind of have to play in the front at least a little bit for this. You know, Sargly may find those opportunities in order to start some big damage combos.
There's the Frost Axe, there's a Shotgun, and there's the Kunai. A little bit of damage for Sargly in the early stages, in the early seconds of this game, as Hubskull goes for a triple barrel. And that triple barrel has kind of stumped a lot of players looking to approach in a straight line, right? I think it's a very... oh, bit of a lag spike there, but we're back. And yeah, the triple barrel has been a surprisingly good card in terms of zoning away.
Yeah, you know, triple barrel is not really something that you can punish head on, you know. If you don't really have an off-angle tool, triple barrel is pretty much unpunishable in the majority of cases, right? So despite how slow it is, and how, you know, how bad it seems to whiff, it actually is hard to punish most of the time.
Sargly is going for a lot of those attempted punishes, but Hubskull just steps away knowing the threat ranges of this deck from Sargly. But the Frost Axe come in, there's another Frost Axe, there's a Shotgun, there's some big damage, but Sargly hesitates for a second, doesn't quite have the cards ready, and that means Hubskull gets the damage needed to bring Sargly to very critical health.
Yes, and now we are playing the lethal HP against Saffron, Dance of Death, and Sargly unfortunately not dancing for very long. Hubskull taking that second game. Oh my god, what? Shopkeeper?
Yeah, we saw the Sargly Shopkeeper against Lux in that tournament that Sargly won. Sargly did swap back to the Celicy to win that tournament, but the Shopkeeper was putting in a little bit of work. Definitely not a troll pick by any means. Sargly has had very good games, but this is a very interesting type of Shopkeeper. And I think you'll see why immediately as Sargly starts throwing cards out.
Yeah, definitely. So here we go into the third game now. Both players at 1-1. It is an even set so far. But this is definitely going to be interesting to watch. We kind of got a lot of structure game going on here, right? We got the Beam Crystal, we got the Bomb, we got the Mine. So structures and traps. This is going to be interesting to watch. But maybe those traps mainly just focused on trying to get... oh my goodness. That's actually a really smart setup. Seas into Gravitas.
Yeah, just a very calm and patient setup from Sargly, getting the damage down, and it's going to go for the bomb detonation here possibly, but might be just wanting to stack up the bombs to try and get a big tsunami play, and that could really come into play later on in this game, but has to be a little bit careful when using that seize, right? Not to detonate the bombs early. There's the detonation and doesn't get the damage that he's looking for, but the game's being kept very close.
Yeah, definitely a very even game, but you know that I wonder if Sargili decided to switch to this pick mainly to just handle Hupskoa kind of just sitting in the back a lot of the time because, you know, with things like mine, things like C's, that's pretty much going to completely shut that down because sitting in the back really just isn't an option anymore. Like, just like that, right? Oh my goodness, the C's into the Tsunami, just dishing out an absolutely large amount of damage right there. But we're still at an even game, both players very low.
Oh, and that Kinetic Wave is a little scary with the bomb. But Sargly not getting caught, but at 7 HP, it is not looking too good. The slashes come out from Hupskoa, going up 2-1, and the Shopkeeper, unfortunately, not looking like it just yet.
Yeah, but let's see if Sargly will make the adaptations because there won't be another chance after this game. It will have to happen now, or it will happen never.
Oh, and actually stepping through the Tsunami with the dodge. Hupskoa not getting pushed back by that, and Sargly in a bit of a dangerous spot with the bomb in the back row. Not getting caught, though, and staying pretty healthy in the early stages.
Alright, now we get the mine back there. But unfortunately, not really anything to actually punish Hupskoa for just sitting in that column waiting out the mine, or in that row waiting out the mine. I think maybe Sargly kind of had like more straight line spells potentially, would be able to punish situations like that. But you know, in situations like this, where Hupskoa just decides to sit there, there's not really that much you can do.
Yeah, another Kinetic Wave, but a shield break. Wait a second. Step by step, a little bit of damage for Sargly, but this lead is so massive for Hupskoa, playing this defense quite well, only really getting hit once and counter-hitting Sargly again.
Yeah, and I also think the lead matters a bit more in this kind of matchup, right? Because although Sargly is playing Shopkeeper, this isn't exactly a deck with as much of a damage output as the previous ones. But, ooh, Inverter, putting Sargly at pretty much just very critical HP right now, especially against Saffron, but they are holding on so far.
Oh, but 4 health is not allowed to work with. One card could do it, maybe even a Raw Thunder if Hupskoa goes for it. There's another fadeaway. There's 2 Beam Crystal. Sargly is cooking up something devious, but unfortunately, it doesn't quite come into play. Another Inverter. Another attempt here from Sargly to try and bring this game back under control, but there's another hand. The Inverter comes back, and Hupskoa is looking so scared. Triple barrel. It's just not enough, it feels like. Sargly needs to find an opening, but Hupskoa is playing this so calmly.
Yes, Hupskoa playing very calmly indeed, but Sargly just slowly making his way back. Is this going to be it? Unfortunately, nothing to destroy the Beam Crystal with in order to actually finish off the game there. And now once again, getting caught by the rush and losing to Hupskoa as a result. But yeah, that is tragic, you know, having the setup there, having the lethal, but nothing to destroy the Beam Crystal with because Shopkeeper can't hit directly in front of her.
Yeah, well played by both players, but Hupskoa navigating this matchup so well. It's just a great set all around, and now we're gonna move to the winners final. Sans versus Icarus, Alpha versus Alpha.
Yes, this will be a set to see. You know, both these players honestly quite strong defensively, but we will see if Icarus will be able to get past Sans' incredible defense that has been stumping these players coming up so far.
Yeah. And who do you think will win this?
Honestly, it's really hard to say because you don't see Icarus much.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to make the proper prediction. Because it's just I don't know how these two will interact with each other. But you know, Icarus does have the tools to get him out of the back. You know, with Strip Mine, Backstab, and then also just some general invade. So Sans might not be able to play defense as much in this one. I think Icarus will definitely be able to find a bit more hits than the previous opponents that Sans has faced. But I don't know if it'll be enough to win.
Well, we'll have to see. Signature titles coming out. And
yeah, the third title switch from Sans.
Yeah. But very fitting titles to how they've been terrorizing the bracket today. And we'll see who is stronger in just a second.
Alright, but Sans just immediately starting off with the back combo right away, you know, triple barrel, and then landing the Tetra right after in W2. So definitely a very strong lead so far. Icarus not even really having a opportunity to do much yet, and already at 40 HP.
Yeah. And if Sans can find another one of those combos, it could be game over here. Trying to find an opening to use the C's to try and find a setup, but that means Icarus has a chance to get a little bit of damage back. The downfall is good though, and Icarus is getting caught by a lot of the C's here. At critical health, 13. Can't go any higher, and with 10 health remaining, needs to find a way back into this game, but Sans has so much health to work with, so much health to try and find an opening with.
Yeah, definitely. And oh my goodness, and there it is, downfall, just taking him out before he can even find an opportunity to make a comeback. Sans quickly closing out that game with the downfall, you know, and it's quite scary, right? Because this deck can play so defensively, but it hurts so bad when you get hit.
Well, here's the Vio, and this is again a very interesting deck that did close it out in the clutch against Residential. We'll have to see if it does, and yeah, as Sans is saying, this is the third Spear Wave in a row.
As I said it earlier, it's like Sans is going to be in Spear Wave hell tonight, as he's going to be fighting another opponent playing Spear Wave. You know, just Spear Sap into Spear Sap, and now Spear on Violette, which isn't even usually a thing. So definitely we'll see how Sans will handle this, and how Icarus will adjust to Sans' gameplay.
Triple barrel, a little bit of damage for Sans as Icarus still trying to disrupt here. A good push slash, and Icarus taking a lot of damage pretty early on. Transmute attempted as well. Sans is sitting pretty comfortable.
Yeah, once again, just having that amazing defense and then just finding all the right hits at the right time right there. 41 damage just immediately. You know, we're at 30 seconds and Icarus is already almost dead.
Icarus now trying to find an opening with the Spear Waves. Throwing them out, but Sans is more than ready to just sit in the back row and really exploiting the weaknesses of this deck. A good shield to not get caught by the C's, but 22 health, just so low.
Yes, and now Sans with a very scary hand indeed. You know, we've seen Sans be nasty with that triple barrel. So, oh my goodness, what was that? That was the inverter, right? No, that wasn't inverter.
Yeah, that was inverter. It just looked really, really weird. And it teleported behind Icarus there, and triple barrel will close it out, and Sans up 2-0.
Yeah, that game, honestly, I think even less close than the previous one. So we'll see if Icarus will make another deck switch here into Shopkeeper. Okay, we're seeing everything today.
This is another interesting Shopkeeper deck, right? We see the perp flavored Shopkeeper from Rez. We saw the interesting setups from Zargly, and now we're seeing whatever this is.
Icarus saying that that he's desperate in order to get this set win, pulling out all the tactics available at his disposal. But honestly, you know, like honestly, sometimes comfort with your main is the best thing you could possibly have like this when you're needing to adjust against someone this strong, you know, and you're trying to find an answer and it's not there. But you know, when you don't have to think about the character you're using, the things that you're doing on top of that, that's where the comfort helps. But definitely finding at least a little bit of damage right at the start, but still starting at pretty much a fairly big deficit once again.
Yep, and luckily for Icarus though, Sans no more cards remaining after that seize, and getting a little bit of damage back, this game being kept pretty close as Icarus is playing the neutral, but Sans has some scary cards yet again. The downfall, the push slash, shuffles it away immediately, and Sans is just so good at instantly shuffling to keep up the momentum.
Yeah, Sans knowing that once those good cards are out and have been played, then there's no need to keep the rest of the hand. You know, you want to be cycling towards your stronger setups, right? Because you know why a lot of Sans' deck isn't super good at landing by itself, so Sans definitely wants to always have those stronger cards in hand.
Yep, another mana catch. The Tetra will close it out. It is Sans 3-0 in this winner's final, moving on to the winner side of Grands.
Yes, unfortunately, none of the counter picks working out for Icarus, and now Icarus will be moving into the loser's side and will be fighting the winner of Varia versus Hubskoa.
Right, Varia versus Hubskoa. And this is going to be an interesting one because Varia's deck is a lot less reliant on that front row, right? A lot better at just getting in there. And although Sargly had the bigger damage, I think Varia's playstyle will prove maybe a bit of a bigger challenge for Hubskoa's type of game plan.
Yeah, Varia just overall very good at, getting back there, finding those hits, and then, even, Hubskoa doing, when fighting it was Sargly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hubskoa when fighting Sargly, having just very strong defense, at some points, really making use of those dodges to avoid hits, but dodging isn't enough against Varia, right? We've seen people avoid Varia's attacks, and then Varia just immediately goes into another one, really making use of those invade actions in order to find those pokes.
Yep, this is going to be a very interesting game. I think the first game will show a lot of what we're going to see later on, because Varia's deck also does rely on them being really on point, and Hubskoa is very good at countering a lot of the Celestia approaches, so Hubskoa so far looking very good, but Varia getting some damage down as well.
Yeah, we got a pretty much even game right now, so whoever takes the next hit right now will be taking a lead. And Hubskoa finding a hit, and the K-Wave, and the Javelin, but unfortunately not having anything left to follow up afterwards, and then Varia getting a little bit of a versal right there with the Whirl.
Yeah, with the Frost Slash doing a lot of work for Varia, trying to land it again, but dodged away by Hubskoa. Good defense as the Frost stacks tick up. Snow Cone, such a good card in this deck for Varia, and the Spear Wave does not connect from that range. It is Varia yet again, sitting pretty comfortable here at a deficit, but you know that could change quick.
Yes, all it takes is one good combo away, and that deficit will evaporate into thin air. But Hubskoa just being really patient right now, not really giving in until Varia's, hand is basically gone, and then using the opportunity to move in to land those more risky spells.
Yep. And to push forward again, and Hubskoa's health is dwindling. Varia needs one good opening here. The Frost Slash is lurking, trying to find the big damage, but gets countered actually on the approach attempt, and now finds an opening with the Whirl. Gets a little bit of damage, gets a little bit of a lead, but gets shield broken.
And there's the shield break right now. Unfortunately, Hubskoa not being able to close out the game off of that. And now shuffling, so both players going to be on fresh hands soon. But Varia playing the Dance of Death right now against Saffron. But takes it with an absolutely optimal poke punish in the back. That was insane.
I was about to say, Varia lingering on that single card hand for too long might get punished for it, but no, knows exactly the ranges, knows exactly the combo, closes out the game, and Hubskoa is switching off the Spear Wave.
Yes, we're going to see Hubskoa switch to the other deck that has been proven to be quite successful so far in this tournament. But those opponents weren't Varia, so it might work, it might not, but we will soon find out.
We will have to see as the Triple Barrel draws first blood, but immediately returned by Varia. The Kinetic Wave, the Thunder not quite. And Hubskoa had this lead last game, with Varia clawed their way back. It's gonna be very interesting to see, especially with the power of the Rush on Hubskoa's side. Such a good card for the way that Hubskoa plays, finding counter hits out of nowhere compared to where you would be without that card. But 2 Frost stacks is a dangerous place to be against someone with the deck of Varia.
Yeah, as long as Varia is slowly building up those Frost stacks. Oh my goodness, unfortunately getting sniped by the Triple Barrel there. But Varia, as long as they can build up those Frost stacks, they will be able to find some pokes in the back that can lead into significant amounts of damage.
Going in again, but getting counter hit twice. Trying to go for the Frost Slash, but not quite connecting. And now this is a decisive game for Hubskoa if they can close it out with the slashes in hand. Trying to find an opening with the Sparkler. Trying to find some counter hits to prevent openings coming out from Varia. But the align's good, but the counter hit. Triple barrel, actually. Not something I thought I would be saying. 24 damage for Varia, though. And suddenly the game's a lot more even.
Yes, and then Hubskoa getting a slight lead right now with the inverted, but Varia just decimating that lead immediately with that combo. And Varia just overall just so good at optimizing that Selkie combo damage, but it won't be enough for this game. Hubskoa taking it with the Thunder at the end.
Hubskoa with Thunder closing it out after the dodge from Varia, and now with the counter hits really coming into play. Varia's going to have to be a lot more careful about throwing out those cards after the invade from the Selkie weapon, and Hubskoa is playing this so calmly.
Yeah, Hubskoa just really playing it back, playing it calm, and really abusing that dodge, right? Hubskoa knows that you have a limited amount of actions, right? You have a limited amount of time once you invade in order to do something, and it's just properly dodging, just spell after spell, freaking Ultra Instinct right here.
Yeah, it's either a dodge or it's a counter hit. Hubskoa on the defense, looking impenetrable as Varia tries to find an opening, but not quite. Another dodge from Hubskoa, just not getting caught.
Yeah, Hubskoa at this point just Twitch reacting to Varia moving onto their side. Varia did managing to find some damage though, despite that.
Yep, and getting a bit of an opening here to try and make this game a lot more even. A good parry actually will save Hubskoa from taking too much damage, but will need to still find a way to bring this back. Has the slashes in hand, trying to find an opening with that shuffle coming out, but really good step forward from Varia, not getting caught.
Yeah, no, Varia with the Frost Slash in hand, and Hubskoa, Hubskoa getting Frost proc right now, so that Frost Slash won't be lethal, but it's still very deadly.
With the whirl as well, one more invade could do it. Varia going in, but good defense from Hubskoa again, and the rush as well to not risk anything there. Hubskoa on the defense, daring Varia to play up, dancing in the front row, but not quite, because Varia just needs 4 more health here, and that will do it.
And now we are, I believe, moving into Game 3, or is that Game 3? Or Game 4?
Game 4.
Game 4. We're moving into Game 4 right now. Is Hubskoa going to make another deck switch? It looks like it. Let's see what they're gonna pull out this time.
Airy style.
Airy style. Okay, well we're getting the rotation now. We're moving on to Airy style as Hubskoa's last resort. Let's see if Airy, the spirit of Airy, will be enough to overcome Varia in this bracket.
But the thing is, Varia has vanquished the spirit of Airy earlier on, right? Won in that loser's top 8 match, so I think Varia very comfortable playing against this sort of deck after how many games they played in this tournament.
Yeah, so who knows? This might actually backfire for Hubskoa, because Varia already having fought this deck before and kind of thinking about the ways to get around it. But so far, it has been an even game. So this could really go either way for either player, but Hubskoa definitely going to be wanting to be the victor at the end of this game. Otherwise, he will be out of this tournament.
Yep, and I believe Hubskoa got 4th last time, so losing here would mean 4th again. Definitely wants to improve his placing compared to before, wants to 1-up it, but right now the game is being kept so close, only 1 health deficit, and now 1 health deficit for the other side. A great parry to not get hit by that Frost Slash, and both players not trying to risk anything in this critical game.
Yeah, definitely. This is a very important game for both these players. There is a good amount on the line because Hubskoa really needs to win this, and then Varia probably does not want to play another game out with Hub. But right now, Varia does have a fairly sizable lead right now, about 20 HP. So Hubskoa definitely going to be needing to look for some damage, but gets the shell break. Unfortunately, no spells to really counter afterwards, though.
Yeah, and that's rough. If you're Hubskoa, you still get the damage, though. The game is a lot closer, but the Frost proc is there, and it's so scary. If you're Hubskoa, a good counter hit on the Frost Barrage, and suddenly a lead for Hubskoa as well, but the scissors come in, and that is Varia needing 1 more opening, and will not miss it. Varia moves on to top 3.
Yes, that was just a very nice step lance right there at the end. But overall, just Varia very good at kind of just making the most out of every small hit they get, you know? Like, not really having hard-hitting combos, but like every time that Varia hits something, like they really get the most out of it, you know, optimizing that Hailblade for additional damage. And as a result, you know, being able to keep up in DPS.
Yep, and now they're against Icarus. And it's kind of funny, right? Every matchup with Varia, other than the one with Aerie, is a unique matchup because Varia lost in the very first round. This is the loser's run of a lifetime. Currently 7-1. Trying to make it 8-1 here is Varia, but Icarus might be a bit of a stronger opponent in terms of defense. In terms of counterplay, in terms of interrupting the game plan, but to be fair, Varia's deck not nearly as vulnerable to that eject as other players in this tournament.
Yeah, because you know Varia can pretty much make use of any of the cards or any kind of hand that they get, right? Because of that invade. You know, nothing here really breaks. It doesn't really depend on the previous card landing, right? Except for maybe something like Whirl. So Quad Claws may not be the most effective card in this, but we do know that Icarus, if this doesn't work out, does have at least two more options to pick from with Violette and Shopkeeper. So a bit to fall back on at least.
Yeah, definitely. And of course doesn't want to fall back on them, but will do immediately if they feel they have to. But a big sweet spot actually for Varia at the very start, and already off to a bit of a lead in terms of damage.
Indeed, but alright, Varia getting a little bit of a HP lead right away. The whiff on the Quad Claws there, getting the Frost proc into the Shear. Getting countered again by Icarus's Shear. We got some just a lot of back and forth. Both players just smacking each other right now.
Yep, a lot of invades, a lot of immediate action, a lot of step spells, and once again, the ejects not coming into play here. And even if they did land, I feel like Varia would still be in a decent spot. As the step lance attempted, it's off angle, but it's still a good chunk of damage.
Yeah, honestly, both players kind of just chipping away at each other here, not really finding major hits, but they are finding hits. But Varia just finding a little bit more damage than Icarus currently. But it is not, the HP gap is not that big. You know, this could really easily swing either way.
Yep, and a big counter hit for Varia. One opening could be huge here. Going for a bit of a whirl into step lance, but defensive counterplay is good from Icarus. Slashes all around and none connecting. Both players playing so solidly, but 4 health remaining. A good shield from Icarus, staying alive, but Varia now in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, never mind. Varia timing the whirl at the end right there, and that will be taking the first game for Varia. And Icarus actually, Icarus deciding to stay Reva for this game.
Yep, and just playing it in the back carefully, and it's interesting because I think Varia, like we mentioned earlier, this deck is pretty solid in this matchup in terms of not having to worry about the eject, not having to worry about the momentum being stopped, and also the defensive counterplay from Icarus isn't nearly as strong, it feels like, when Varia is constantly invading.
Yeah, you know, because you just have Salaki moving onto your side of the field and then using AoE spells, you know, like Breakout, then, you know, like Shear that covers a large area, you know, Step Lance. And, you know, these are a lot harder to avoid when your opponent's, like, right in front of you, right?
Yep. And Varia, although at a 30 health deficit, is still getting a lot of damage down. The shield brought to 1, almost a shield break, but not quite. It's really been the Sunday shuffle of shield breaks and spear waves today.
Yes, that is very true. We've seen an absolutely massive number of shield break, and oh my goodness, almost another shield break right there again. We're seeing a lot of whirl action right now, but fortunately for both players, not getting the shields broken just yet. But right now we got a very even game right now. Both players, Icarus at 30, Varia at 24.
Yeah, and Varia's brought it all the way back, right? Had a bit of a deficit earlier, but we're seeing none of that right now. One opening could be decisive. A good dodge from Icarus to not take too much shield damage, but the shears are good. A good dodge on the strip mine as well keeps this game incredibly close. No whirl attempted there, and Icarus is be very careful on defense here, but going on the offense a little bit, evening up the game even more. 3 health. The Frost proc gets enough hit stun.
The Frost proc allowing Varia to land that step lance right there and close out that game, and it looks like Icarus is going to maybe be switching here.
It's interesting. I'm not sure what switch will be good for Icarus. Goes for the Bio here. It's gonna be tough for Icarus because Varia is red hot on this losers run, not looking to stop at all.
Yeah, Varia really looking to take it all the way right here. And didn't you say they were in losers like round 1?
Yeah, lost to Airy in winners round 1. Exactly winners round 1.
It's like, yes, and so definitely what an insane climb right now. Just all the way up here, and performing so well against even a very strong player like Icarus Diver. They're not really looking to stop short of grands.
And Varia still looking comfortable here, but eating a little bit of damage, and Icarus could catch Varia off guard with a lot of these tricky cards like the Inverter and like the fadeaway. So we'll have to see if that comes into play or if Varia is just gonna never get hit by a Spear Wave here.
Yeah, that Spear Wave definitely going to be a fairly important source of DPS for Icarus Diver. Running Transmute, running Javelin, running even, I believe, one of the Spear Catching cards in order to generate the spears necessary for this. But if Varia just doesn't get hit, then there'll be a lot of damage missing from Icarus' strategy.
Yep, we'll have to see as Varia is at a tiny lead. The bomb is at very low health in the Spear Wave to catch the movement from Varia. The game is exactly even now, and the Whirl in hand, the Frost procs in hand. The Frost procs allow the Whirl to connect, and that's the type of damage that Varia is so good at getting, so good at confirming off of that Frost.
Yeah, and then now we have Varia with just not that big of a lead, but a lead nonetheless here, and looking to land that Step Lance, and landing a little bit of it, but not the entire thing, just getting a little bit of chip damage going. And both players, once again, a fairly close game that we have right now, 27 and 13. Both players looking to close it out, and Varia does it with the sheer.
3-0. A decisive losers final in the favor of Varia, now 8-1 in this tournament. Will be facing off against Sans in the grand finals, and what a performance by Varia in this tournament so far.
Yes, what an absolutely insane run by Varia. This is one of the bigger Sunday shuffles too. Not just climbing through a Sunday shuffle losers end, climbing through probably the biggest Sunday shuffle losers bracket that has ever been so far. So Varia just playing absolutely amazing today, but it is not over yet. Varia will now have to get past Sans, who has been an absolute menace so far in this tournament, and no player has been able to best him so far. So the question is, will Varia be able to overcome and complete the losers bracket run?
Yeah, this is an opponent though that's gonna be much harder than any of the others so far. The winner side, and we're getting some lore here. There is no catchphrase, so we were waiting for Varia's entire losers run to win the entire tournament, and we were being baited by a catchphrase that never existed.
Okay, but now we're going to move into game 1 here. Even if Varia does win, Varia will have to win again. So definitely a very long road ahead for Varia. Not only going to have to beat Sans once, but twice in order to close out this tournament and take it home.
Right, and a slow early game typical of when you're facing a player like Sans, but good damage back from Varia landing the Step Lance and all of the other stuff as well. 75 to 67, but once again the huge chains into the future into even more damage, but a good step forward to not get hit by an extra 3.
Yeah, and Varia definitely going to be very careful of Sans kind of baiting, just really looking for those failed invade attempts to land that W2. Because, Sans will just sit in the front sometimes. He knows you're going to move right past him and then step in front and then, land that. But Sans looking for an aligned triple bear right there, and there it is.
Good frost proc, but not quite getting the whirl. And those are the type of critical moments that you need when you're against Sans. You do need to hit those. You need that extra, you need every extra little bit of damage because Sans will not give you that many openings. Better push back. 4 health remaining. 1 health. Sans testing the waters, and we'll close it out.
Yeah, Sans taking game 1 quite convincingly. So hopefully Varia can make some adjustments here and closing, moving. Okay, returning to. Was that a deck switch? I couldn't tell. It was kind of fast.
I don't. Oh, it is.
Yes, it is a deck switch. Okay, so Varia choosing to opt for a deck switch here. So Magic Claw is definitely new, and so is Northwind, and so ditching the Frost engine.
Yep, no Frost to be seen at this time. Going for big damage out front, the Vivisection and the Magic Claws, and whoa, okay, that is some big damage up front.
Yeah, Sans already nearly at half HP within 10 seconds of the game starting, so definitely a bit more explosiveness from this deck that Varia has decided to opt for.
One hit of Vivisection in the back, but still trying to push forward. Sans at exactly half health now, and a push slash constantly pressuring is Varia. And getting more chip damage. This is what you need against Sans. You need to put him on the back foot as quickly as possible. But going in for the whirl gets interrupted, and Sans is playing this defense so well.
Yes, and despite Varia does have quite the lead right now, but that lead can very easily disappear against a deck like this. Sans building their decks to, in the right situation, can have extremely high damage output. But so far, Varia doing a good job of not falling into too many high damage strings that Sans has.
Yep, and with Sans at 27, it is very doable for Varia. Needs one good opening to put Sans in critical HP, but steps up and tries to contest the triple barrel and gets interrupted in return, and suddenly the deficit from Sans doesn't look like a deficit at all. Somehow playing defense so well to bring it all the way back, and one opening might be all that Sans needs to close out this game.
Yeah, Sans making the adaptations and quickly closing that gap, so now Varia will definitely have to be a bit more careful here, and there's a triple barrel, not enough to take the game for Sans, but Varia definitely going to need to be very careful right now because the next hit will probably end the game.
Oh, going in with the pressure, 1 health left on Sans, trying to find a Tetra, and has the mana catch, trying to put down a seize, trying to find the right time, but the self-vivisection means that Sans is in a good position. There's the suture, and there's the game for Sans.
Yeah, Varia just so close to taking that game, but it just wasn't quite enough in order to take down Sans. And now we're moving into the third game. Varia desperately going to be needing a comeback here. Otherwise, this will be the end of Varia's loser's run tonight.
Tetra a little wasted, and Varia needs to find big damage fast, needs to find the opening fast, needs to find the world. There's a shield break, but nothing in hand.
Yeah, Varia just trying to go for whatever they could right there. Placing down the Hailblade and trying to optimize that damage. Unfortunately, not really getting that much off of it. But right now, they do have a slight lead in HP. It's not that much, but it is something. And getting another shield break immediately. The Magic Claw into the whirl, into the mark detonation. And now, that is the damage that they need in order to take this game.
Oh, but there's the downfall. There's the Tetra. There's the damage back from Sans, and suddenly that lead doesn't seem as secure. Another shield break though is on the cards with how well Varia is pressuring that shield of Sans that sees available. The Magic Claw in hand, the Vivisection as well, trying to find some pressure here with the mark, but the self-Vivisection means that there's no momentum here for Varia, but the seize also goes without finding too much value. And now with 9 health remaining, Sans in a little bit of trouble. Varia could close it out here.
Now Varia just looking for just one more hit to close out this game, but we have seen already, Sans will be very difficult to find that hit on and can easily make it back from an HP deficit like this, just like he did in last game, so Varia will definitely need to be very careful here in order to find this last hit.
Yeah, one hit of Vivisection will do it, and that will too. Getting the string, Varia getting a game here in Grants, trying to start the reverse sweep.
And now we move into the next game. Unfortunately, not that good of a start there by Varia getting Tetra, and then immediately Sans landing the triple barrel and downfall. Varia already at half HP, 10 seconds into the game. Definitely not what they need in order to reverse this set.
Yeah, but we've seen Varia be explosive in these games. We've seen Varia also have some big strings, get the shield breaks, and another raw magic claw means a little bit more damage down, but against the Siege you got to be so careful. That's the shield break, and that's a good chunk of damage there for Sans. Not game ending, but this game is slowly getting out of Varia's reach.
Yeah, this game not really looking too hopeful for Varia right now. Varia managing to find a good amount of damage right there and slowly starting to make their comeback, but unfortunately, that will be the triple barrel, that will be the Q, and that will be the set.
Sans taking the tournament. Well played. 3-1 in Grands, but shout out to Varia. What a loser's run, finishing 8 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah, definitely a very impressive run, you know, and also kind of proving me right in my meta analysis earlier where I said that Selkie can win. Well, here's your proof, right? So, you see this character and what they can do. Like, I'm not letting anyone tell me Selkie's bad. No way. Varia being absolutely insane with this character tonight. Unfortunately, not getting past Signs, but still a great loser's run nonetheless.
Yeah, well played, and well, Windfall. I think that's gonna do it. Great tournament, and Varia on 4 hours of sleep. What a run!
That is definitely quite a run for a very tired person. I will say that. If I have 4 hours of sleep, I would not be playing.
And unfortunately, it looks like it will be a little bit of a challenge for me to find a raid target because there's 0 other streamers in the Duelists of Eden category, so I will check. Yeah, I don't know. This is a little bit of a struggle.
Man, this is crazy though. Like, so many... we had so many entrants and then so little of the alpha players show up. You know? And, like, one of the things, just like... I think Mikkel, you know, was talking about just, like, he wants to play in tournaments for, you know, like, there's a decent amount of people showing up, and then we have Sans and Icarus, 2 people who usually don't play that much showing up in this one. 2 strong opponents. And, he's unfortunately not present.
Yep, and thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Windfall for saving me on the cast with like 2 minutes of notice, and thanks Brandflakes for being ready in case Windfall wasn't. But see everyone next week.
Yes, we will see you next week.